Welcome to the Albion TV War Report, your source of live battle coverage featuring the top guilds and alliances of Albion Online. Today is, Friday? The 31st of October. Today is Halloween 2025. I am your host, the Chosen One, and I am joined today by Robin Hood RS on the play-by-play, and of course, Fogel behind the scenes on the camera. We are currently spectating No Sex with X. Quite a callback to the heydays of Albion. These guys are smashing some walls. I don't see any opposition, Robin. And you told me something very, very peculiar today. You said nobody's around.
Yep, this is the only territory throughout the whole of 18 UTC that has been launched on. And both the defender and the attacker did not show up. No Sex with X showed up because they thought it was going to be content here. Lo and behold, as you can see, there is no content here. So they're now raiding the territory and, yeah, doing their own thing. But I went through my list, and I went through our list twice. Actually, 3 times. There were only 2 other guilds that were somewhat in a maybe massable state. So maybe they're going for castles, and that was Drick with M3R Company and Sorrow, and that was it. Nobody else is online. So yeah, it's gonna be a slow one, and it's even gonna be even more slower because me and you are knackered.
Tired. You're both tired.
Very tired.
So we are going to have some really, really cool stuff coming up throughout the next season. So season 30 is going to be really cool for Albion TV. It's going to be really cool for the audience. Drick, demounted. I hope it's not just to kill this one skeleton.
I know for a fact that this is not an 18 UTC territory.
Well, you know how it is. We never know what they're demounting for. They've demounted. I'm looking for anything at this point, guys. But
Yeah.
the reason I was up all night, Robin, is because I've been building out a very cool schedule for all of us for the next season. We're going to have some really cool events at Albion TV, and even before next season starts. We do have this big update, this faction warfare update, and that's going to be very different than most of our other updates. When the first faction warfare update hit, Robin, we actually played a lot with our audience. Remember how we did several different shows where we brought people in. We had Jason EQMS, we had Lupac, we had everybody, calling for us, and we had a room where our audience could sit in it and listen to our calls and kind of participate in that way. We're going to be doing that again. We're going to be doing a class on how to get ready for faction warfare. We're going to be doing a class on getting into the action of faction warfare, and we're going to be doing many hosted faction warfare events from the different cities of Albion Online. We're going to get everybody together that is in our community. We're going to encourage people who haven't participated before to find roles that can help out the group. We're going to get as many people to experience ZVZ comms as we can, Robin. That is the goal. We're not going to be doing your normal show in some of these. It's going to be the likes of Lupac, the likes of Jason, the likes of yourself, and others of our community shot calling and leading our forces in faction warfare. I know I said you
Yeah, that's not happening.
Snot is just like building up in your brain. You snorted so hard, I can hear it building up.
Yep. That's not. Take my name off that list. I am not shot calling.
I said people like you from the community, hardworking, trustworthy individuals that know the community better than others. I'm pretty sure there are some people that we've worked with in the past, Robin, that might be suitable to put on the air if we do it in a 5-minute delay.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
Right.
Okay. But hey, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless.
I mean, I'm looking forward to you building me a list of shot callers, Robin, that won't burn down the house.
Yep, that list will be very small. Probably fit in my hand. But I am looking
What's
forward to
Surfax
some of the
doing?
faction warfare content myself. I don't know what Zerfax is doing.
I'm finding out right now. It's just
You know more than
yeah,
me.
he lives.
You
Yeah,
had dinner or lunch with him or
yeah,
whatever.
really nice guy. He's got like real things going on. I can't pull him in as a employee, unfortunately. He's got a real person's job, and not like us degenerates.
Yeah,
Um,
that's unfortunate.
but I might be able to pull him in for an event or two, and I think he might love this. I think there are a couple of people from the community who are returning. I actually have been hit by a ton of members of the community recently. I don't know about you. A lot of old school ZVZ players coming back and saying, "Hey, what's this?"
Yeah, I've seen one or two pop back in and have a little peek about what's coming up. But yeah, it's faction warfare content in of itself. It's always been a bit of a struggle here for us on the show. One, because reading name tags is horrendous, and that is being fixed. And then two, the travel, a lot of downtime, and that's also being fixed. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out for us with our shows. Being able to follow the content a lot more easily. We're going to be able to know where fights are happening a lot better as well, because of the way that the new system is pushing players together. So yeah, it should be a decent time. And I believe, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I believe we are going to be having more America server war reports as well. Now, it's either the silence is going to be very deafening here, or
Nope, nope,
Shozen's
nope,
just walked
nope.
away.
No, I'm here, Robin, and I have something else to add to that. Not only do I want to do more NA war reports, Robin, I want to try doing them in not just English.
Okay.
I want to do them in Portuguese, and I want to do them in Spanish.
At the same time?
Maybe that's actually an option. We could probably that's maybe even a better option than having a separate group come in on a separate day and do it here, making an AlbionTV Spanish channel. But what I was thinking is actually having like you guys would be here at 22, and then there's another time slot, Robin, right after that. Actually, still pretty
Yes.
active. And if we pull off one of the things I'm trying to do here at Albion TV, we could probably bring in a second caster group and have them come in 2 hours later and just, even if it's just once or twice a week. Like, I want to try it. Like, these guys who have come in the past, like Name Hell and stuff, those guys are really interested in giving it a go. They would love to try it. And honestly, even if it's not the same level as a Robin Hood's play-by-play casting, just getting more of the members of the community involved to just hear what's going on in Albion, I think would be fantastic. And for them to know that, Albion cares. Like, we've been trying to do that for years. And I think that in the next season, we can try a few.
Yeah, be interested to see how it unfolds. Looking forward to hearing it and seeing how that goes. I've just been watching in game here. Obviously, we do have other groups on the battlefield. Well, it looks like all of them are pretty much working together, and nothing's actually happening here with this action in Battlebray Lake. So I'm going to hop off that. I'm going to see what Drick is up to. Because they're on the move. It looks like they're heading up into the north. Maybe they're gonna initiate a raid up here. Not 100% sure. There is a 7-4 wood going live in 23 minutes, but I don't think that's going to be the main objective here. I could be wrong. So for now, I'll switch on to Drick and see what happens. But
I just hopped off of Drake. We have a banner raised by Sorrow. Is like the best I got.
oh. And that's in Rivercop's path.
Yes, yes, and they're busting right through. It's over before it started here. Um,
I will go on that.
So I do want to talk a little bit more about the faction warfare update, Robin, because it is the big thing going on. We've got dev talks that came out yesterday. We've got exclusive information to share today during our daily show right after this. It's very exciting times right now. And as you can tell, Robin and I are both exhausted. I'm basically like out of breath all day long because I feel like I've been up since 4 days ago. But it's very exciting right now. This is going to be a great update. And I know a lot of people are saying, I'm not a faction warfare player. I do solo content. Where's my content? This isn't for me. And they're mad and they're like, I'm going to say two things. They're both legitimately mad, and I think that they have to understand something. Not all updates are going to be all things for all people. And sometimes we have to have updates, sometimes even 2 in a row, that don't hit a particular area of the game. And while like this past update was, or this current update was very, very, very focused on large-scale content. And that's pretty much what it is. It's large-scale content, some UI fixes, some new additions to UI, a new player kind of experience, if you will. And that, Robin, that's it, right? Right? Some balance changes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Drops?
And yeah, new vanity and stuff coming in.
But it's all kind of tied together, right? Like around a faction warfare patch. And you're going to get patches like that. The patch before that was actually designed mostly for small scale group content. It was that 2s and 3s. The depths, still some of the best content I've ever seen released as far as like player like acceptance of it. Since then, the player behavior has diluted the experience in such a way that I think the devs are absolutely going to have to re-examine this very quickly for the next update. Not this current update, but I assume they have to look at the depths and the information they've gained from this period and examine it in the next update. It is such incredible content that player behavior interacted with in such a way that diluted the content that they have to examine it and change it. And that's what you guys out there who are playing solo content, that's what you guys out there doing like other scale content that feel like it needs to be fixed, need to focus on. This next update is it's a quality of life update from what I understand. They want you guys to tell them the things in the game that need to be tweaked and changed. Not the new systems you want, not how you want a battle royal, not how you want boats or dragons. They want you to tell them how you need your solo dungeon tweaked. They want you to tell them how you need your random dungeons tweaked. They want you to tell them how your PvE encounters in Avalonian dungeons in this area need to be tweaked. Look at the little things. Look at the things that can be changed but not redone. Think about those. And then with that in mind, either go to the YouTube where Graymo came out and said he wanted to talk to you guys about these things, or go to the suggestion page on the forums. Those are your 2 most valuable areas of attack right now for your concerns. If you want to just come and voice your concerns, we're always here for that. I'd love to hear your concerns. But while Robin is our community like feedback master, he is the guy that goes to the community, to the guilds and alliances of Albion Online and addresses their concerns and pulls those right to the devs. It goes right to them, talks to them every week. Your concerns about this patch aren't really for Robin. Robin has a more global kind of look at things about how to deal with specifically large-scale events focusing on the end game. And you could go to him and we can talk about those things. We can have a great conversation. But the suggestions forums, that what kind of dev talk was that? I know it was kind of like a different one. What did they call it? Like an overview?
Which one?
The one where Graymo said, "Hey," it was the call to action one where he was like, "Hey, come to this channel and tell us what you need fixed."
Oh God, it was the Oh dear.
I think we
I
need
can't
to work
remember
on
what they.
this. This isn't for you, Robin. I'm just thinking from what my experiences have been with this particular YouTube video and this particular call to action. I think we need to have a location to send them with that call to action that's not the YouTube and
Yeah,
should
it
be
was
a
Reddit.
living area. Oh, it was on Reddit.
Oh,
There's one.
yeah, they had like a massive Reddit thread.
How do we have responses on that? Have we gone through them yet? I know we tried to go through
Yes.
them early and we had none.
Yeah.
Robin.
And then Graymo did respond, and we did cover it in a daily show, and that was that.
All right. Well, we got to direct people to that. Again,
I mean, it's
it's already over. You
already
think?
over.
I mean, it's never Robin, suggestions.
It's never over, but the Reddit thread is over. So
Okay.
the suggestion forms would be the place to go.
All right. That's all I'm trying to get from you, man. I mean, this is, you're my feedback specialist here. I'm just like a host. I'm just like some middle management guy.
Yeah.
I gotta go to my experts for these things. Oh, Bogle did say Reddit. Sorry, I was actually trying to find content from a guy I talked to about content. He doesn't have any for us, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's going to be a long next 40 minutes.
Well, I mean,
And then everything that we're going to talk about again in the next show because it's a daily.
I don't
show.
want to do. I want to be careful on that. That's why I'm trying to stay away from turning this into strictly a daily show, and trying to talk about this in kind of a slightly different way than what we're going to be doing in the next show. In the next show, we're going to be going over the dev talk, right? In the next show,
Xbox Game Pass.
Next show, we've got Xbox Game Pass for people. Next show, we have some exclusive images of the drops and rewards that you can get in the next update. We've got a lot going on in that dev talk. But here, I kind of want to focus on what, like, the people who generally watch the War Report focus on, which is, like, what's this end game stuff? How do they get involved in communicating their interests? Oh, Bogle, no way.
Thank God.
Thank you.
Thank you for inside POV.
I'm trying, Robin. I'm trying to waffle my way through this.
Yeah, I don't have the energy for the waffle today.
I know you have nothing for me today.
I know. You are hitting a brick wall with everything you're trying to lead off onto me, and I do not have the energy to not type back to talk back.
You're experiencing my aphasia, Bogle. Robin.
Yep. Well, big engagements happening here as the walls fall. No one's died yet, though, on these engagements on both sides. And I don't give anyone the caster's curse, so that's good.
Yeah, let's just stay out of the caster's curse realm today, Robin. I don't want to doom either of these two forces. Winx has looked good, though, lately. As I look at their smaller disarray debuff. That's certainly not going to jinx them. Level 18 for them.
Yeah, they've been doing very well. Finally, we do have first blood. One member of Marauders going down here. But yeah, I mean, after like literally all that back and forth
28.
engagements, only one death occurring.
18 to 28, Robin.
That's doable. Very doable.
It's on the edge.
And
with the
6
defense,
very far regears.
Like, what do we got? Oh, so this looks like a level 7? Because it's silver chained? Or is it just 6?
6, I think.
Yeah.
6, yeah.
Because it's gray, because some of them are gray, not silver. The gray, I can see some silver chains and some gray chains here. So it looks like it's 6. You really do have to look for like key little indicators on these walls and stuff. Like, where's the trim? No trim. Level 6.
Good dodge roll here from Anki. Good defensives coming in, looking to fire back. Siege bows tearing through the health bars. Will they secure anything? 1 for 1 so far. As I say that, another member falls there for Marauders. As I heard the wailing bows pierce through the air. 34 minutes of the prime time window left here. Still can go either way. Winks will have re-gear advantage. Like I mentioned, M3R company very far away with their re-gears. I believe they come all the way from Timber Scar Cops. So about 5 or 6 map run there for these guys to come back, where Marauders is just in the zone next door.
Well, that should help them. That will really even out that disarray debuff. They might lose some people, but they'll be able to come back quicker. This could be a match of attrition for them. Can they just survive long enough between losses that they can whittle down M3R over time? Use that disarray debuff difference to really take down more guys in each engagement. And over time, with that difference in re-gears, and if they can play well defensively and not lose too many to the point where they get overrun, they have a real shot at this. But being overrun is the danger here, Robin. It's if they can really just get on top of these guys, use their advantage, numbers advantage, and completely engulf Marauders, then the Brawl meta takes over, and I don't think in the Brawl meta you're gonna win when you have fewer guys. This many fewer.
Yeah. That was a big hit there. Those wailing bows nearly taking out Anki and the boys on the north side, but Winks are in control of this fight. They did actually nearly take down Drick as well just moments ago. Drick's Cleric Cow will be on cooldown right now, but it is just a constant back and forth wave of engagements for both sides. There's no real downtime here at the moment. And I mean, if Winks can burn the clock here a little bit more, right, for this whole entire time period, 6 haven't touched the second level of fortifications yet. Anki here popping Gig Pot for some weird reason on that engagement. Needs to be careful here. It does have Cleric Cow, I believe. It does have the roll on the boots, but wasting Gig Pot like that, a little bit risky. Again, like both sides found phenomenal defensives and supports and heals coming out. Good shutdown there on that bomb squad. Massive defensive play there from 6. Anki, massive clump, and not going to find anything good here. Clump,
but his entire group is locked down in the back. Look at that over there to his east, Rob. There was nobody able to get away from that defensive tank. I mean, it just tanks at this point. Like, they move forward, act defensively in the mid lines, shutting people down and slowing down engagements. It is a defensive tactic, but it's a defensive tactic that's used while moving forward into your opponent's mid and back lines. And that's what we saw there. A tank goes in, causes CC to the mid and back lines, and so Anki's incredibly effective clump and dump did nothing for the DPS, who were just not effective in any manner whatsoever.
Yeah, and Drick also starting to read how Anki is doing these return engagements. You know, he's hitting near instantly off of Drick's engagement. So preempt, like textbook, like right there. So preemptive defensives are already coming down, chariot shielding, locusts, etc., all coming down before Anki even makes a clump. So Anki needs to change up his playstyle right here to actually be effective. He can carry on doing big clumps, but to be honest, he should just tell his guys, don't hit on my clump, just hit on the D-tanks that are trying to shut you down every time, because they're overextending. They're not going to expect a full engage on some of these D-tanks that are very, very far away from their healers and supports, but Anki's just letting them play that deep and not applying any pressure onto them. Like, look at this preemptive root bound coming down before Anki even turned into a golem. Like, they know when he's stepping up. But look at all these D-tanks just holding down his DPS. Marauder's Winks need to punish these guys. But they're not doing it. And that may cost them the fight here. And Anki's going to go deep again. And those D-tanks are going to shut down his DPS again. There they are. His bomb squad can't even move past the first gate here on the north side because that D-tank is just shutting them down every single time. And here we go, 6 looking to flood all the way deep into the back lines. This could be a wipeout, and it is Anki. A sliver of HP. But he goes down nonetheless, and the tombstone rings out.
Oh, that was awesome, though, that somebody used their victory emote on Anki. We need those every time, dude. We need more of the victory emotes, man. We've got to find a way to improve those. Ajax it is. I was headed to Drix, but thank you. Heading to Ajax.
Yeah, I would love to have, more standout victory emotes and stuff. Maybe tie it in with like a kill feed and
yeah, like I don't need them to stand out more, Robin. I need them to be easier to be used. That's what I need. Like if I'm gonna say quality of life, my thing to go over to that YouTube video and go over to suggestions is, hey, I love the victory emotes. I think they are special and a unique, awesome part of Albion Online. I love the way that they make each death more amazing. However, the functionality of them is less than ideal. Now, if we could turn them into a way where I could use them all the time and have a functional way of gaining them that didn't need to have repeat action over and over and over again, and could be more of a toggle or a switch and something that I earn time-based rather than individual death, I think they would be much more useful, Robin. Because when you have them tied to each death, depending on the content you play, it can be a day's worth of victory emotes or 5 minutes. And that really makes the management of them come into play, and then you just turn them off.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Obviously, you do a lot of arenas and stuff as well, right? So you have them turned on for knockdowns. So, yeah, I can see you guys burning through them very, very quickly.
Well, even somebody who plays ZVZ, think of that you hit a clump and then.
I mean, only if you're a big boy solo clapper.
Oh well, aren't you a big boy solo clapper, Robin?
Most of the time, like you're very much sharing kills. Like, very rarely do you have like main Zerg having one player secure, a majority of the kills. I would say more than, 2, maybe 3 kills in a clump from main Zerg. Solo clappers, on the other hand, and we've seen how devastating they can be. They can secure 10, 15, 20 kills in a single hit by themselves.
So wouldn't that be an interesting thing to see visually expressed on the field? Say, if everybody in the ZVZ had their things on and most people have a different thing chosen, right? Not everybody's going to choose their guild flag like I do. People are going to choose the ghost. People are going to choose the tombstone. People are going to choose the hammer. People are going to choose the hand. There's going to be different things that people pick. And you have this like collage of death emotes springing up whenever anybody dies, except for in those amazing rare cases where some guy goes full bore and hits that big boy slam and you get 20 guild banners all popping up at once, or 20 ghosts rising up out of the ground at once, all killed like by one person. Yeah, wouldn't that be freaking amazing? That was 2 people, by the way.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be like cool on another level? And think about like the advertising tool of that. Like if we make shorts of that shit or something like that, or marketing sends that kind of thing out from one of their amazing perspectives where they use in-game cameras to change the angle on footage and zoom into ways. That kind of thing, if we implement that, makes death a celebration once again. in a way that right now, which I think these victory emotes were intended to do, was really to turn death into a celebration. It allows us to do that again. Because right now, I think with the system for victory emotes, they're just not functional in the way that they were originally intended, and instead are functioning as something entirely different.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, like I would love to see an actual like kill feed system in place that highlights people on big kill streaks and stuff. Basically the same way that like Call of Duty does it, or having
There's a place for your
quadra
damn
kill,
dragon, dude. There's a place for your
kill.
damn dragon. You get 20 kills, a dragon flies across the screen.
No, not those kill streaks. Like,
Not a nuclear bomb.
no, like so
No,
when like
I was saying no as your victory emote, like having really cool victory emote.
Yeah, that would
like
be
if
just
20 people
insane.
were killed by one person, the victory emote changes from whatever the standard one would be to literally a dragon rising out of the ground or coming out of the sky and blowing up their corpses with a giant fireball. So they're dead, but the victory emote is a fireball hitting the corpses. That kind of thing.
Super duper rare. Yeah, because
kind
hardly
of
anyone's getting 20
thing.
kills.
Nobody's doing that. And it's that kind of thing that would, like, I think, elevate Albion's large-scale gameplay elements to a completely new level. And really, I think that's what we need to do, is once again go to the psychology of winning and playing and look at the elements of that of reward. I think that we focus too much on material rewards for players and not enough on psychological rewards on players, and we really spend too much time trying to balance all of Albion's end game around material rewards. And when you do that, you encourage things like rental. When you make it more about sentiment and feeling and event, then you really do not only encourage more individual guild play and experience, you heighten those really big moments. You don't necessarily hurt the people in a negative way with those moments because they're the same kind of loss still. Loss doesn't get worse when the other person has a better time. You might even have a better time. Your team seeing a 1,000 ghosts rise up when you all die might be the coolest thing you ever saw. Who knows? You might love it. But those kinds of rewards in Albion, I think, are severely lacking. And we need to move away from just giving them more silver, giving them more cosmetics, and giving them more stuff, and giving them more feelings, giving them more memories, and increasing the amount of like joy you experience in certain game elements. And I know that sounds like pie in the sky, weird, sentimental stuff, but honestly, in game design, that's one of the fundamental things you're supposed to do, is look at how to do that. And in live service games, it is incredibly important to do that. And this is some good fights, by the way, and I feel like I'm giving you guys, game design 201 here instead.
Yeah, but it's the fight's happening in the background. We're seeing it unfold, right? But it's things that stand out and love to see change. I mean, you watch any of the big hype videos, right? As well, like escalation, end of season, closing video, like
another POV
with their bomb squads and their big boy claps. That's literally in every montage going, every guild promo going for Outland guilds is the big boy claps, the big boy kill feed stacks coming in. Like, you can improve upon that and make it more interesting and stand out a little bit more, incorporate that into faction warfare in the yellow zones, so players have that feeling when they hit something insane. Everybody sees it and knows about it, but that player that did that, it stands out as a core memory even more. So, and they want to do it again. They want that, they want that dopamine rush again. So they're going to chase that again. and again and again. But yeah, I mean, the kill feed's great. What we have right now, you know, it's a lot better than what it was before. You know, we can read it, we can see it clearly, but you know, make those players that are going, you know, 5 kills streak without dying, 10 kill streak, 20 kill streak without dying, 50 kill streak without dying, you know, make them stand out, make them be known to the whole entire Zerg, like, that's in zone fighting, that this guy right here is a motherfucking killer. And he's on a 50 kill streak right now, and he's slapping all you fools. Like,
everybody's talking about how like they want. One of the things people always talk about is they want to be able to have like their weapons glow or their character glow or all these different things that other MMOs do as part of their cosmetic slate. We have said we didn't want some of that because we didn't want everybody looking like, you know, gods and paladins and demons and, you know, otherworldly creatures just because they have a little bit of silver. However, Robin, if you had like a 25 kill streak or something and suddenly you sprouted demon wings, or everywhere around you there was always this like on fire glow like from NBA Jam, I might be okay with that. I would think that would be pretty freaking neat. If you can, my thing is I always want to make heroes and heroes and you know, legends out of heroes, right? Like that's the goal. Like we want to turn players into heroes and heroes into freaking legends. If we can start seeing the heroes again in Albion Online, if you can help us denote them, if you can help us see them as the people who tell the stories, we absolutely could make legends again.
Yeah, and I mean, you go even one step further, like kill feed, you know, when that big boy beast clapper dies, you know, it's announced to the you know, the game or the cert, like the zone that X killed Y, right? And that comes out in its own little thing, like it has slain, you know, blah blah blah. Like let's say for example, you know, Anki has been slain by Dennis RW here. Anki was on a 50 kill streak. You know, he has been slain by Dennis. You know, something like that. So the person that finishes and puts that kill streak to bed is also rewarded in, you know, an announcement way as well. So people realize, you know, that accomplishment of killing that beast, the one that's in the ZVZ that is doing the most damage, so to speak. Something along those lines. I mean, making the name glow in the chat box as well when you're on a kill streak.
Even
like, and
Robin,
it,
that,
you know,
just
increases
making the nameplate glow. All you have, like, and then the other team at least know that's the freaking killer, that's the target. And for some people, they'll be like, "Bring it on, buddy, bring it on." You can even take this into just open world, dude. Like, imagine one running around on fire. Do you think that more people would tune into his stream if one was running around on fire?
Because they know that he's on like a 50 or 100 kill streak and he
by
hasn't
looking at
died
him,
yet.
It would suddenly become an event. Like, he might not even know his kill streak, right? Like, that might not be something he's aware of. And then, oh, dude, he's on fire. And then suddenly up in the corner, it says, "You are currently 20-0, mother." And it just starts ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. And like maybe like his little avatar starts going on fire, so he knows too. Oh, Robin, do you know anybody who's in the feedback loop?
Yes, yes.
All right. Get your freaking notepad out, buddy. We got work to do.
Yeah,
no, I'm just having fun.
It is, you know, it is something. Yeah, he has definitely lost it, Bogle. I'm with you on that one. But he's excited, right?
He's like, I'm on about a week and a half of not sleeping well, and it's not because I'm not in a good mood. It's because like I've got so much cool work in front of me that I'm excited and happy, and I am very excited for where Albion is and going. And I'm not a 8-hour-a-day kind of guy. When I see work that needs to get done, I go out and just do it, boys. Just like these guys over here in 6, just doing it as they clash into the front lines of Lodos here. And this, Robin, I don't know if that's going to be something they can come back from if Drick can reset and go again.
I don't think he's, unless this is a big hit. I mean, 1 kill secured there.
No, he 1 for 1. Bad.
But Winks is firing back here. You know, not allowing Six to try and gain momentum off of that hit. It was a good read here by Anki to push Strick back, forcing them to reset and restabilize. Sentry Mage also resetting as well, and that's still full HP. And time is now becoming a major factor here, because we only got 14 minutes left of the primetime window for these guys to get that mage down and Winks wipe. So we've kind of been in this stalemate for quite some time now. We've been here with the walls down for about 10 minutes, and Six really hasn't done much on the Sentry Mage at all. Gonna have to start thinking about fully engaging on the Sentry Mage and just that Sentry Mage.
You know, Robin, we talk about that a lot, and that the most effective way in our minds to actually do this is to go take down the mage in 3 to 4 engagements and then move in on the other team, especially when you have the numbers advantage like this. You can pretty easily send in tanks to go and disrupt, make sure you're not getting uber disrupted, and then throw down on that mage with everything you have. They're going to be able to mitigate some of the damage, but it's not as easy to mitigate damage on the mage as it is on people. And if you can continually cycle on it, throw off, you know, like off timing hits on it so that the heals keep it not quite topped up enough so you can constantly chip down those bars, that's, I believe, the best way to do that. And then you just start going at your opponent. But even just forcing them to respond to your mage is generally more effective than just going, like you said, going over and over again at your opponent. It's much easier to reset players than it is this mage.
Yep. Well, we did see then just moments ago that Wailing Bow Bomb Squad securing 4 kills for themselves. Bit of a fire back here. Sentry Mage going to town, coming out the ice block there. Leon does not make it back alive. And Winks restabilizing. Sentry Mage is getting healed as well. Ajax, though, going down. Anki looking to fire back here. Preemptive defensives should be down here, and it's going to be a nothing burger. Actually, as I say that, Nezu does go down. So the Winks do find 1 kill in the chaos there. Wailing Bow Bomb Squad western side securing another kill, and that's a healer down here for Marauders. Can't be throwing away healers. I mean, look at party 1 here. There's only 1 left in the party itself.
That's not a good sign, Robin.
Yeah, I think that may be becoming a bit of an issue. I see a couple healers outside of
There's another one.
41.
No, they're back. They're coming back. We got 2 in party 1 now, and it does look like people are returning, and it's starting to top off a little bit quicker. And you do have more in the other group. I'm guessing that one of these other guys who's dead out of the other 3 dead guys in, 4 dead guys in party 1 is another healer, and they're on their way back. And if they have to, I think they can sustain, as long as they don't engage. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they just sit here in a stalemate and just burn the clock here.
Still no mage work, huh?
Yeah. I mean, Winks are playing this right. They're playing on top of their Sentry Mage, so every time Six goes to engage, even on players, they're hitting that Sentry Mage, but at the same time, the Sentry Mage is just getting healed anyway. And it looks like Six are pulling away here. I'm not sure if they're trying to bait Winks outside because they can't break through the Sentry Mage line here, but maybe it. Don't see. The banner has been dropped, and it looks like 6 are shifting. Gonna be the end of that.
Well, that one looks like it
People in
is
open
over.
chat's like, "What happened?"
Yeah. What
I don't know.
happened? Why pull away? Oh, well, it's because you're not going to do it in time. That's why. I think some people are well aware about the amount of time that it takes to do things, and I think Trick was like, how many people are we going to lose if we push this hard? We've done no work on the mage. What's this going to cost me? Yeah, not worth the re-gears. Let's get out of here.
Yes.
I mean,
What the hell is CPP doing? They're sitting in a castle, but um, I
so
think they're having a Halloween event here because everybody, apart from I think maybe 1 or 2, probably it's the bomb squad that didn't get the memo. But everybody else in the whole of this group here is rocking what is it, the skin is this? The bone horse skin
nice.
for Halloween here.
Love that.
Little role play.
So, I was talking to some of my guys as I'm bouncing around here because everybody didn't. Not everybody. I see no Skagnagar, but everybody else kind of did show up and went off and did their things. This whole time while we've been watching this, there's been a cat and mouse game between Crumbs, Girth, and there was another force out there that was no Skog was there too. Skog is actually just off the field now. So it was a Skog kind of like, I think it was Skog and Crumbs that were going to fight, and then Contingent showed up, and then Crumbs R'd back, and Skog seems to logged out because I can't find Hinnerman unless somebody else has been running with them today. But all three of the big boys were out and playing tag because right now I think we're at that point, and I hate to say it, I think Crumbs is saying if you're gonna bang us, we're gonna deny content, and we can get enough content without that. That's what I'm getting from some of my communications. But they, I also looked into your thoughts on people being out doing other things, and a couple of GMs are saying no, that's not the case. What they are dealing with is hand-holding and positioning. So there may be some people out, especially it does look like streamers, but that's about it. Everybody else seems to be just doing especially at the high end, the hand-holding Diddy dance has taken effect here in the EU at the moment, and the current plan is if you're going to do that, we're going to deny content. Welcome to the R back. Like they're paying for it. So that's what's going on, Robin.
Who's paying for it?
Like everybody's paying for the R back, like the guild. Like they're willing to pay to deny themselves content at this point. Like if you're gonna double team us, we're leaving. We've seen this before.
Yeah. But that guild is just going to be
They're getting
hurting
content. Though. No,
themselves.
they're getting content.
Who are they?
Enough.
Who are-
Like Crumbs is getting enough content. Crumbs is not from. And I'm not saying this. I'm just watching what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks, right? And it seems like it's getting more and more that they're just saying, you know what? If it's going to be a 2-on-1 situation, we're going to bounce. We're going to go. And you've seen the evolving conversation there. And I don't think it's as much about the push for points or even boards at this point as if you're going to do that, we're not going to play with you. And we're taking our ball and we're leaving. And we've seen this happen before. We've seen it happen at the large end, the medium end. But I think what they're doing is still getting enough content through the other groups that are out there and in the times where they can 1v1 these other two groups that they're not concerned about like not having content themselves, but they're not going to give them that kind of content if that's what they're going to keep trying to do, because the objectives aren't really that important for anybody in Albion Online. It's the most important objective is Reddit. But it's not really Reddit, it's more Discord, you know, like the communications outside of the battle. Like who's talking shit to who?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, the objectives are worth
Huge
something.
amounts of silver. Oh no, they are. And like
Yeah.
if
So like
Crumbs
today
keeps getting denied
for
everything,
contingent,
they're gonna get really screwed.
I mean, yeah, for contingent, right? For their mass today, because I just checked CTA channel to see what they're massing for. Double 8.4 node, and then obviously they're running into the epic or rare castle that they're sitting on in Glacierful Fissure. So
Well,
overall,
let's talk about the
contingent
castle
walk away
situation then.
with 230 mil ish in silver this CTA. Doesn't matter
Crumbs are getting a
if they
castle
don't
too.
get a fight, and Crumbs get a blue castle.
Well, I mean, they're getting things anyway. Everybody's getting them, and yes, they're winning the objectives. But do you understand that like a group does not want to just sit there and
Of
not
course.
get the objectives 2v1 and give up the fight? And if that's
Yeah,
the
of
way that
course.
it's going to be, then we have seen time and time again, Robin, that the
Mhm.
force that then does the banding together loses some of its bangers. If you're going to constantly do that and your goal is to use large numbers to outnumber your opponents, if you don't get enough content, or if the sentiment in the community starts to tilt, which it often does when the larger handholder starts to squad, um, I don't think that this is a bad strategy. And yeah, sure, you can get some 8.4 nodes. You probably get some mammies. You're gonna be splitting that with Skog if you're having to work with them on all this. But we say, you and I, in most cases, when it's, you know, we see these kind of behaviors, we go, that's pretty bad because what does it do? It denies content. And
Yeah,
we're at
it's
the point where the
it,
forces have said, fuck it, we're denying content.
yeah, and we're also now also at the point where you're you know, on the coming towards the end of the season, and we're on that fallout stage of end of the war as well. Um, so obviously there's going to be still, you know, that disdain towards the other side, and you know, the disdain that was built up during wartime, where you know it was a constant back and forth, and you know there was a lot of fighting and everything, and all that, and words were said and all that jazz. Like obviously that still remains. Just because the war's fizzling it out, just because one side's lost half their numbers, doesn't mean, you know, the other side is still, you know, technically in a war state. So yeah, they're going to do everything to win and carry on winning until the war is officially won. Now, when does that war, you know, be officially won? I have no idea, because we have HQs and stuff, so you can't evict people now. Um, so it's one of those where, yeah, content denial is probably going to work here in the long run, because contingent or Skog or, you know, take care or whoever it's going to be gets bored of getting content denied, then, you know, they're like, okay, we're going to stop squatting. But it's going to take a while because of the situation that we're in, political, um, and the fact that we're coming off of a war, right? It's like a lot of people don't actually realize like how the European server has been from the very start. Like people think like the top one slots are like decided, and it's just like la di da di da walking on through. What they seem to forget is every single season there has been some sort of major war for the top slots. Every
True.
single
True.
season.
Every season.
And
Yes.
the inner ring hasn't been held by a singular group for more than 2 seasons. One group has been rotated out and another one moved in, and I don't know if that's going to happen next season. Probably not. So it's going to be contingents just moved in this season. Take care. I think they just moved in this season as well into their inner ring spot. I think next season nothing's going to shift there potentially, but then again that can all change because we've seen Skog and Heralds beefing it out. Is there an opportunity there for something to build up on that front? But Soap have been at war with Contingent and the Garth Alliance this time as well during this season, right? We saw that, Soap had other groups underneath their banner that are not here anymore. And the war was chosen, right? And you're going to have one side losing and one side winning. That's how it goes, right? So right now we are seeing the fallouts of one side losing, and it's going to be like that probably through to the start of next season. Maybe the losing team pick up their stuff and look elsewhere. Don't know. Maybe they choose to stay and try and build up their own coalition, because other groups, right, other groups like Soap probably also fed up already with the situation at the top, and maybe they look to band together, right? Look at Take Care and the Mass Alliance. They've been fighting day in day out at 14 and 16 UTC this whole entire time, and they are at full-blown war with each other. And there is a potential there that Soap maybe work with Mass to build up a coalition next season. They're two very strong ZVZ forces. The opportunities, a lot of it sadly does come down to a lot of politics and shit like that, but it's always been that way. There's always been a rotation of guilds coming into the top spot, going out of the top spot, going into the inner ring, out of the inner ring, renting locations, then losing that renting location. Like prime example, last season, the inner ring where Contingent is right now, that whole entire area, that landmass of Darkbro, Snag, Iceburn Firth, Iceburn Tundra, Iceburn Peaks, Runaway Slough, Thunder Rock Ascent, Thunder Rock Draw, that whole entire area was rented out by Woof Woof, because Woof Woof controlled that area and they were at the top. Woof Woof got dismantled by Contingent. Contingent moved in and they kick out the renters that they didn't agree with, and then they brought in their own. And the cycle continues and continues and continues, and that's the way it is. Is it perfect? Definitely not. Could it be improved? 100%. But that is the system, and sadly, the outcome is that some guilds are forced to do content denial. And that's a wrap, as Bogo says.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back again pretty quick with a daily show. We're going to run some commercials. Rob and I are going to take a quick break, but we've got a lot on the daily show. Robin, give me your 30-second or less rundown of what we will be doing next.
Dev talk, Xbox Game Pass, speculation,
Prizes,
premium codes to give away. Something
Bogo?
what Bogo just said, but I didn't hear a word he said because he muffled
quiet.
his mic.
We got some concept art.
Oh,
concept art. Yep.
Exclusive concept art. We are always looking for stuff like that, and we've got some looking forward to showing that. I think it's actually pretty cool. We will be back shortly. AlbionTV presents the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, keeping you up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. Today is Friday, the 31st of October, 2025. Yes, today is Halloween, and we're all dressed up as clowns. I'm here. I'm your host, the show's one, and I'm joined today by Robin Hood RS and my buddy Robin Hood. Wait, I already said that guy, and my buddy Bogle. My team hasn't slept much in the last week. We're all a little afraid, guys. Robin and I in particular are saying the wrong words a lot. Like, this is fun. We've learned new ways to screw up today. I'm on, I think, day 5 of, like, not great sleep. Robin, just day 1. Just day 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I stayed up to 5 a.m. playing video games and then woke up again at 10 a.m. because the dog wanted her breakfast. So,
And that's...
yeah, that's how I'm going. I made poor life choices.
But, Robin, that's exactly what I want from my pro video gamer co-host.
I may have to step away. I don't know if you can hear that.
I know
from
the
my mic.
thunder. I know the thunder.
All the lights just went out in the street, so...
Tenwit, I'm not going to allow that because I just don't want... I don't want to,
Okay,
I don't want you to... We're on Twitch, Tenwit, and I know what you were doing. Funny, haha. That was a good joke. I'm totally okay with it. It's literally true. But we're on Twitch, where truth doesn't matter. It's feelings. No, you don't have to apologize. I'm basically apologizing for Twitch. You were fine, Tenwit. And an audience, the thing that Tenwit and I are talking about is he sent a message that I had to deny, which sometimes I have to do time to time. I really don't like doing it, not because I don't want you guys to say your mind. It's because I don't like that this constantly comes up for things that are perfectly reasonable for you guys to say. And I don't like stopping it from you guys talking. We try to allow almost everything. We don't ban many people, but we do ban people. Yesterday, Robin, you know what I did? For like the first time in months.
I think Robin's
gone.
Yeah,
Robin's
he said
gone.
he's
Well, you know what I did. You saw it, and you were even shocked when you saw it. You had to see what had happened, didn't you?
No,
I banned somebody.
Yeah, for a good reason.
Yeah, but like, I rarely have to do that. So, guys, don't give me reason to ban people. You rarely do. You are the shining light of an Albion community. I am so impressed with you guys as a community, the guys who hang out here with us in Twitch. You guys are all, or 99% of you are a lot of fun. And I really look forward to coming and hanging out with most of you guys in chat. And yes, alcohol distributor, we're going to give away some premium. You specifically, can you have premium? You can have it. You can have it, but I can't guarantee that you'll get it. You get what I'm saying? Bogle, can you do me a favor and with some brevity explain to people how they can win some premium?
There's a little box somewhere on your screen that says chat. Ideally for Twitch, right? And then you can sort of type, I was going to say buttons. Type letters into that box, and then ideally also press enter so it arrives in chat. And then at some point we'll draw some raffles based on who has chatted for a while, and then we'll look at what you actually typed. And if it doesn't look like a bot, we shall reward you with a 7-day premium code. Yeah, best case scenario, it's somewhat connected to what we're actually doing here, of which, granted, is pretty random. But I do think we do have a few topics that we want to get done today, one of which is, I think we want to briefly talk about the new dev talk. We do have the Xbox Game Pass thing that's happening. Albion is now on Xbox Game Pass. There's a new skin related to that. We want to show that off. You can see it in game too. There is some issues with some people not getting the skin yet. That's something we'll talk about, but that's under investigation. We have a cool concept art that is unseen, so we'll have that I think in like 10-15 minutes to discuss.
Right.
And what else is on the show today? Maybe patch notes, but a few other reminders and just general questions and answers, I think.
That sounds pretty good. Sounds like a pretty full day, Bogle. Do we want to start with some of these early PSAs that we have here? Because we have some things kind of coming to an end. We're at the end of the month. We're at the coming towards the end of a season. We're running out of time on our Harvest Challenge and our Horseferatu.
Last day, essentially. Adventures Challenge, October 2025. The bat. If you haven't done that yet, you still have a few hours time to get that done. It's at the very end. It's usually still doable. I don't think you can grind it today all if you haven't done any of it, but the bat is pretty cool. And then the Horseferatu is the invite a friend skin that's up for the month. I'm curious about what's happening tomorrow then, the new one. But that's invite a friend this month, the first month ever without being able to pay in silver. And that had some effect on the gold price. I think that's pretty welcome by most players that the gold price went down.
Yeah, I think for most of us that's great. I know personally, Bogle, I made some timing mistakes on this. When they announced, near the beginning of the year, that they were working on finding ways to lower the gold to silver ratio, like bring the gold price down.
Mm-hmm.
And they made that a public announcement, and we talked about it, and it was on the forums, and it was discussed on Reddit. I assumed that we would instantly see like the gold price going down. Bogle, it did not go down. I divested from gold, and gold went up by like 3,000 more. And now it's starting to come back down.
Don't remind me.
It's coming back down. This is why when we make in-game financial like advice, it's for entertainment purposes only. Think of us like Kramer, like that guy is never right. You would probably do better than not following him, doing literally the exact opposite of what that man says, than following the things he said on his show for the last 30 years. But it's for advice. And it's okay. And he's very funny. And I love that button, man. It's good stuff.
I never actually watched that guy. I only see memes about him being.
You know what, Bogle? Bogle, we are working on your meme machine.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to use some Jim Cramer memes.
All right. We can look into that. Let's talk about the big thing.
And we need free real estate in there too. If we don't have free real estate in there,
it's the internet, man. Everything's in the meme machine. Yeah, let's talk about the thing I hinted at before, the big announcement that was yesterday. The Albion Online now on Xbox Game Pass. Link your account today to get exclusive rewards. We had the big announcement. We discussed a bunch of speculation around that in yesterday's show, and I think we'll do that in just a bit again. What being on Xbox Xbox Game Pass, actually means. Because Tazik yesterday in the PvP show basically told me that, by the way, every game that's on Xbox Game Pass is supposed to go on Xbox at some point with the new version of Xbox or whatever. And he was like, well, when does this come out? I don't know, maybe 2026, end of it or mid of it or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, at least that gives us some sort of time frame where if history holds true, then that's a good day or time. Yeah, and it has a bunch of exclusive rewards. But have you tried that yet? Do you even have Game Pass? Because I didn't. I don't.
I do have Game Pass. I haven't linked it yet. So yeah. I'm going to be doing that as soon as I have an opportunity. I know we talked about this like in the previous show that AlbionTV is going to be doing a lot of crazy things over the next few weeks, specifically with the update. The faction warfare content is the kind of thing we want to interact with you guys a lot with. And so we're going to be building a lot of shows around faction warfare. The goal is going to be to use our 20v20 Discord to invite you guys, the viewer, to join us for faction warfare, where you can hear us do shot calls. Like, we're going to have people here like leading the event so you can follow us and stuff. We're going to do a special show that teaches you how to get into faction warfare, the most basics of it. The very basics of it, how to sign up, how to get gear, how to get to the front, how the tools work, what you can do and trade your points for, how the points affect things. We'll be doing a learning show with Lupac. Lupac has played a lot of faction warfare. Him and L Forward are very well informed on how this works. So is Melitris. We'll probably get the three of them together to do some content on that and specialize in that for at least a show. We'll have another show on getting to the next step in how you can do well with faction warfare and being part of a faction. Any faction that you want, you can.
So you're
learn how to do
talking
that. Now,
at the end of November-ish, right? Because this is after the Realm Divided update releases.
it has
on
to come
November.
out. We have to get it out first,
Yeah.
and we're talking probably in the week before the season starts. So we have to fill, like, well, we don't have to, but we are going to fill the week that from when it comes out on a Monday to when the season starts on Saturday, just focusing on that content.
The season actually, that's another thing we should mention. The season actually then starts on the 22nd, I think. There was a announcement on the forums with the actual new season schedule, and I should link that. So the season.
That explains what.
Huh?
So if the update comes out on the 24th and the season starts on the 22nd, it's going to be one of the rare times where the update comes out after the season starts. Correct?
I mean, according to the schedule, it says 20.
Yeah, I've got to then once again go back to I did check this morning to make sure all those numbers are okay. Yeah, I just have to reschedule our content for that first week. Don't worry, we'll be fine. So that first week, the season will have started. We will have additional content. We will be there on the Monday when it drops, where usually we're not here on a Monday. We'll be here on a Tuesday, the week that content drops. Usually we're not here on a Tuesday. But we're going to be focusing those days on the update itself. We might still have war reports. I'll see what our team wants to do. We're probably going to even start more NA war reports. That should be exciting. We're going to try to do a Spanish, a Portuguese NA war report.
Did we finally find somebody to try that out with?
I know some guys I'm going to try it out with. I just need to get them approved by Sandbox Interactive.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted to do it. I haven't had the budget to try it with them yet. They have a good working relationship with Sandbox Interactive, and they were recommended to me by Sandbox Interactive for another thing. But being on the air in Spanish or Portuguese when I can't verify what they're saying is a high level of trust there, And unfortunately, some of the people we were going to have do that in the past, some very good people who were going to do that in the past, did some things where I can't give them that level of trust.
Oh no, they got filtered. Okay. But let's
saying that, like the number of people we could do that with got really small over time, because of people behaving. So, but I do have at least 3 people that I would like to interview and do a quick thing with, and hopefully get either one in Spanish or Portuguese for at least a time being. But NA war reports across the week will happen next season. We will have a lot of other really cool stuff for everybody. But the most important for the audience, and this is what I meant to talk about instead of getting sidetracked, was faction warfare events with us that they can participate in that week. and throughout the rest of the season. We're going to try to integrate them in to when those fortification battles happen
Mm-hmm.
and line up some shows with that where we bring in somebody who can actually teach these guys how to participate in faction warfare and hopefully lead them to victory in some ways. And the shows won't be from the perspective of us playing and talking about it as having a good time. It'll be a shot caller telling us what to do and us following commands as a group of players, hopefully well over 20 to 40 players following somebody's commands, and people can watch that or participate in it.
I mean, that's gonna be fun. I mean, new update. We want to try and show as much of that as possible, and then it will be during the regular times when we can fit it in. And you know, it's probably gonna be a cool experience to re-experience faction warfare, or for some experience that in the large scale the first time. There's other smaller things that I wanted to briefly mention. So first off, the season schedule 10 hours ago went live for season 30. If you haven't seen that yet, I put a link in chat. You can share it around. Again, start date November 22nd, after a 12-day off-season period. There is the specific dates, so times and so on, all in here. Rewards are in there too, and then there's one change to the Conqueror's Challenge rewards, which is from the end of this season onwards, Conqueror's Challenge rewards will feature only 2 new avatar sets, Silver and Crystal. Bronze and Gold tiers have been replaced with legacy avatar sets, offering a chance to unlock avatars from previous seasons. The sequence in which rewards are unlocked has been slightly adjusted. And then there's a bunch of other dates here for Crystal League and so on, but I think that's it for season 30. And then of course everybody's doing faction warfare.
Yeah, they flipped the I'm back, by the way.
Yeah.
We've got we heard you earlier.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I was listening the whole
Glad.
time. I was listening the whole time.
You did a great job. You did a great job.
Yeah. They actually changed the previous change where right at the beginning of the Conqueror's Challenge, the big chest was always the thing that you unlock last. Then they changed it so the avatar's the last thing that you unlocked. Now they're reverting it back to the big chest being the 1 million mark as the final unlock. Hopefully we will see maybe in the future, and I say future as in, you know, maybe next year, maybe the year after, don't know, can't say much, but you know, this whole entire Conqueror's Challenge and the reward structure has been something that we've been talking about. I gathered a lot of feedback from the guild discords that I'm in, put out a survey, you know, got like near 400 responses. I think the biggest takeaway was I think it was 48% of players had already fully completed their Conqueror's Challenge, and we weren't even halfway through this current season. So, in a sense, the Conqueror's Challenge it gives something for players to play for. It's kind of like a mini battle pass, so to speak, in what it like does, you know, incentivize players to play. So if players are completing their Conqueror's Challenge in 30 days instead of the, you know, intended drawn out 60 days, that has knock-on effects for other things as well. So hopefully, you know, like I said, no promises, nothing. It is just something that we're talking about. Is maybe in the future some changes there to the reward structure and what is offered on the table. And also the off season was also talked about as well, because players do not like the off season, shock and all.
You know, I don't necessarily like the off season, Robin. Shock and awe, right, man?
Yeah. Yep. It's not great. I don't know. It's really weird. even if it was still the basic, 5-day, 12-day, at the moment we've had like 3-week off season, right? That's even more painful. Hopefully we never get to see that again, but never say never. It is a possibility.
Mhm.
But like so many game content aspects of role evolve around, the season being active, and when it hits the off season, personal econ sucks because gathering sucks because territories can't be leveled because there's no vortex spawning. So gathering yield is decreased. Enchantment rate of resources is decreased. So personal econ sucks if you're a gatherer. Vortex
The
is in of
entire
itself is
reason
an
to
objective
login goes
is
down.
gone. Yep.
There's
It's
there's some,
you
but
can't
it
raid
goes down. It goes
territories
down. You
and
can't do
all that
most of
shit.
the thing, and we need to find a way to balance activities in the off season with a time for the off season, but also not have a 3 to 4 week off season. Well,
Yeah.
even 2. 2 is rough sometimes,
Yeah,
man.
2 is
It was
rough.
supposed to be. I mean, so I know this because I'm dealing with my own like planning from last year. It was supposed to be a 1 week to 2 week off season. 1 week when there wasn't any update, and 2 weeks when there was an update. And we got into a pattern of 2 weeks if there wasn't an update, and 3 weeks if there was an update. And that made the very short off seasons that were supposed to be there, the more frequent ones, right? Um, Still painful, but not as painful. When they got long, oh my God, they became so painful. 3 weeks with nothing to do is devastating. You're just begging for that content to come out, and if it's not guild related content or your content, that update can seem just an excuse to make it so you can't play the game if you're looking at it from a negative player POV.
Yep, and another downside as well, which we've actually seen happen this season, currently ongoing, is because last season's off season was 3 weeks. That actually has a knock-on effect to the fame boost that you get from the Conqueror's Challenge reward at the end of the season, because it's 60 days, right? Um, so it's meant to last, for the fame boost for the next season. But when you have in a 3-week off season, that completely offsets the time frame because obviously players are running out of their fame boost that they had from last season at the end of this season. And then when they activate it, they're kind of boned because then they have 3 weeks of off season, and when we come towards the end of this season, everyone's already ran out of their fame boost, right? Even though the season's still ongoing. So like fame farming and things like that are impacted because 10% fame on top of all the other boosts that you can get, 10% fame is still a lot. Like for the hardcore PvE nerds and the crafting nerds, that's a lot of extra fame. So they stop doing their content, and then that has a knock-on effect because if people aren't doing static dungeons or group dungeons or open world mob camps, world bosses, all that different stuff on the open world because their fame boosters ran out and they're waiting for, their next wave. That's less content for the other groups that are potentially hunting that PvE group and so on and so on and so on. So it's that snowball
It's
effect
a
because of one
knock-on
minuscule
snowball
thing.
effect that can just devastate content.
Yep.
And so what has come from that? What are we looking at changes? How are these changes, or what are players saying? What's going on? What do we got here?
Well, obviously I can't say much
Oh, oh, I like it when
because
you can't. Robin, I'm going to be honest. When
because
you
we're in
say
just
I can't
we've
say
just
much,
in the talking phase, right? I it, the situation like of me collecting the player feedback, I did that on my own terms because I was talking to somebody else at
Mhm, mhm.
SBI about some other things that led to the season and the Conquerors Challenge and the reward structure. So it kind of just fell into place, and then that has now been passed on and shared with the other devs. So what they take away from all that is, you know, for them to decide. So that's why I said, like right at the beginning, like nothing's in place here. Like, we could be 2 years out, maybe more from a change. Who knows? It may not even happen whatsoever. But it's being talked about, right? And it's been highlighted as an issue. And when they get to see player, feedback and so many players saying the same thing, it really does highlight to them that clearly there's an issue here that, hopefully will be addressed sooner rather than later. And that is one, Conqueror's Challenge gets completed too easily, and halfway through a season when it's meant to last throughout a whole season, so to speak. And then the other one is the off-season period of time where players feel like they have nothing to do, so potentially they stop playing the game, so to speak, right, for a period of time,
I have
which
to
you
say,
don't
I
want.
actually don't want to be stressed. Like, I initially I thought the same thing about the Adventurous Challenge, that it's over so quickly. But over the years, I have come to like the fact that there are months where I can only play for a week or two of the month and can still get the challenge done. And I think that's bigger than getting, because the rewards for winning guild season are way bigger than just quote unquote Conquest Challenge, the Adventurous Challenge. So I don't know how much that's a good thing if you stretch it out, but maybe a little bit is fine, but requiring me to be straight up playing Albion for 2 months in a row, I don't know if that's optimal.
Yeah, and it's all about finding the right spot, right? Obviously, some players play less, some players play a lot more, some players, SBI have all that data at their disposal. They can see, play time compared to completion time, to stages of completion, and all that jazz, a lot more than what my little survey can do, right? The survey there is just to get the initial, like, player sentiment. Okay, is there an issue here? Is there not? Let's dig a little bit deeper type thing. So yeah, it's one of those, right? For me personally, I completed it halfway through as well, and I did gathering, and I collected some cores and some vortexes, and I did a castle probably twice a week, maybe, and I completed it within 30 days. Um, so and I didn't do any, PvE, fame farming, that type of thing. I know a lot of players that do that, and they complete it faster than I did. And they're just doing group dungeons and static dungeons and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those where finding the the good spot for both sides of the table. Yeah, we'll see.
This is gonna be good. Robin, I think that we're on to something here. I hope that it makes good changes in the off season. I know that there are issues, but it always starts with feedback, right? Like, we always have to get the understanding and see where it can go. And already, like, I was planning for a 3-week break, Robin. It's down to a 2. So at least they're hearing us on that and getting back to the normalized schedule. Hopefully in the next one, because there isn't an update between seasons 30 and 31, as far as I know. It should only be a week. And we will be at least limiting some of the downtime that we've been experiencing for a while, because it's been painful, dude. It's been so freaking painful at times. And Bogle, I get it. You like the break. I personally like it at times because I get a vacation. I get some regularly spaced vacations from being on the air that allow me to kind of reset and examine what I want to do for the next season. And I think that some guilds and stuff, like, if seasons had more impact and were more tactical, I could see how guilds could use the off season to prepare. But even no matter how much preparing you have to do, 3 weeks is too long for preparing.
Yeah, it is. A little bit too long. A little bit too long. I am seeing some reports of potential server issues.
No, no, oh no.
If you guys can tell me what server you guys are having connectivity issues on, that would help tremendously. I am hearing that it's Asia, but I cannot confirm nor deny that at the moment. So let us know in chat if you are having issues. I know on EU that there has been some issues during prime time around this time.
That's what I'm
Asia
hearing
has
too.
a ping spike. Having connect on Americas. I'm having no issues
Bandwidth's
on Asia.
fine. Okay, we got some people who seem fine. But
I'm gonna
you know
load up
what?
the game
We'll
and
just look
switch
for
to Asia.
high deviation on this. If anybody has a severe issue, let us know and we'll try to find that out and figure it out if it is something that we need to report. Hold on. Actually, I'm getting a ping spike as well. Okay, that's on something totally different. That's awesome. All right. Good news there for that ping spike. But yeah, not ping spike. It's a ping spike, but it's pings in Discord. I just suddenly had like 8 pings in Discord out of nowhere. So it was a ping spike, but not an in-game ping spike like we were just talking. God, we need more words, Bogle. Bogle,
Hmm.
give me more words.
Notification.
A
You had a
notification spike.
notification spike.
I did, and I got really concerned because we're talking about outages, but totally unrelated, and also in Slack too, which is always great when both of those start pinging at the same time. Somebody at Slack knows a great place to go get drinks, by the way, if you're wondering. We're going to be fine on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're going to be we will be back in Berlin at some point, guys who are watching the show. If you're wondering what I'm discussing there, we'll be heading back to go visit the SBI studios again in 2026. We hope to be there for their next update. From what I understand, a quality of life update. I don't know more than that. I'm sure there'll be something else there, but we will be there. Is the plan to be there at least at this point? And we're making plans for all the fun stuff as well as the work-related things. You know, the most important things. Where do the teams go for team meetings and drinks after work? That's what we're currently working on now. So good times to be had by all. But Robin, the faction warfare update coming up in a few days. We actually have some previews of it and some of the rewards that people can be getting that are kind of like tangential to this. We have some art from the Green Knight, I believe we can share.
The Green Knight?
Right, Bogle? Isn't that what the
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the art is? Because the way Robin said that really confused me for a second, like he didn't know what I was talking about.
The Noble Knight.
That's later.
Nope. That's later. We have exclusive
The hell is the Green Knight?
The Games
Bogle
Pass, the
for
Xbox
Games
thing.
Pass.
Oh, the Game Pass. Okay. Okay, yeah. Oh, right. They literally called it the Green Knight set. Okay, I see it now in the
Okay, you really
yeah.
you just made me think that
I hate it.
had
There's so
lost
many
my
knight
mind,
skins coming out. I
dude.
don't know which ones are which, okay? You
But that's how
can't.
I feel about everything. I don't know which words are which at this point. I haven't slept enough. So when you say the Green Knight, I start questioning everything that we did about the last 2 days where I thought I was giving you screenshots of the Green Knight throughout Arthurian history. And I'm like, did I have a like crazy fever dream or something in the 3 hours I slept and imagined all this? Because I'm under the impression that Bogle, you know what we have right now? Art.
What we have right now,
Exclusive art.
Oh, it's like 808 QTC. What's happening? No, yes, there is the Green Knight skin that you all see with the Xbox Game Pass thing. Did we mention the reports that we got that not everybody was receiving them yet? So there is a forum thread actually where the community team says they're looking into it and that there are some things Maybe, stay at least 5 minutes logged in. Don't change the cluster. Don't unlink your account at this point in time if you can.
Yeah, don't do that. No, don't do that.
Don't. That's
There's a
do not. Do not.
365-day cooldown where you will not be able to relink it. So do not unlink your account.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they can do something with that one, but I mean, long story short, I think they are gonna work on that, and it's probably some database Microsoft SPI thing that's going on in the background there that they'll probably have fixed by Monday or Tuesday. So if you have that, if you have it linked, you didn't get it yet, don't fret, it will happen. And then we got this cool video of it. We have it in game already. If you haven't seen that, I've been standing around with this thing the whole time. I think we showed some history where this came from in like 2 days ago. But all things start with an idea and some concepts. And SPI was so nice to show us one of their concept art pieces for the Green Knight specifically. There it is. And I have to say, I almost like the knight on the 2D a little bit more than in 3D. I prefer the horse in 3D, but this looks really cool.
Yeah. Biggest thing that stands out, obviously, concept art. This is concept, right?
Yeah.
Final product is in game, what Bogle can show. But the biggest thing that stands out here is actually like the loot bag on the horse is actually now a sword in game, final product. Which I prefer more.
It's on the other side, actually. There's
bag.
a bag on this.
Oh, right.
If you, I mean, if you put it side by side,
F
right?
me, right? Okay.
No, there's a huge axe on it, and that does look cool. If you turn around the horse,
is that an axe?
They got the bag on it too.
Oh, it's an axe. I thought it was a sword.
Yo, both of you need
I am
happy.
It is.
I need to go to bed.
Robin, I kind of feel that across the board. I understand that. I don't know what's going to be happening. We got.
Anyway,
one of those days. But yeah, I mean, from concept art to final product, can you show the difference between the knight in game and concept art again?
I like that. So the concept art reminds me, I'm going to say this in a way that actually the in-game art kind of looks similar for the horse as well. Very chunky horse.
Yeah.
Like that. Go back to the concept art for a quick second, Bogle, after you're done looking at Robin's thing. Robin, you talk now. I want to go back to concept in a moment.
Yeah. I do like the scarf, so to speak, on the concept art. More. I don't like it in game. I think the rest of it is pretty much spot on. If we can flip back again, Bogle, to the in-game one. Because I don't own this in game. I haven't seen this in game. So this is literally my first time seeing this in game.
It looks great. I'm sorry. I just think
I
one of the best
do like
skins
it.
We talked about this last week, just briefly. The depth in the new art is a whole new level. The new cosmetics are a whole new level of fidelity that we've never had in Albion Online. We've never had this much detail, anything close to it. We could put these new armors up against anything in the past, and I think they will absolutely just not look the same in the level of detail. Like there's just a new level of detail to these. That's not a bad thing. What that leads me to believe, and this is just pure speculation, that Albion has kind of hit a point where that kind of thing can be done. And that means that not only will we get this in our future cosmetics, one day we might see this level of fidelity. And look at the shine. Look at the shine. There's no shine like that anywhere else in Albion. Look at the shine on that armor as Bogle runs his wonderful little knight armor around. It doesn't do that, really. If we can get the next fidelity upgrade to the rest of our gear, Albion looks different because that's a different fidelity.
Yeah, it's getting there. It really is. I'm looking forward to seeing the new skins. Um, Obviously, it's crazy. Like we went a massive long period of time without getting any new skin, and now we're getting what, 4 of them in one go, pretty much. So we've got this one which is the Xbox Game Pass. Then we're going to be getting, with the next content update, the new Noble drops vanity set, which is going to be called the Noble Knight, which is why I got confused with the two here. And then on top of that, we also get the Faction Warfare Reward vanity set. And then on top of that, we also get a brand new vanity from the in-game store at the same time. Plus, we got new vanity with the Halloween update, which is the Halloween pumpkin offhands. So, like, it's kind of just like exploded all at once with new vanity coming our way or already in our hands. Like, over the next month here, we are just going to have so many new pieces of vanity. And I'm wondering if we're going to have that, momentum of just new vanity coming and coming and coming going into 2026. Because remember, at the start of this year, it was something that they said on the forums that they are looking to be producing a lot more vanity, and vanity for everybody, every type of player they have in Albion, right? If you're a farmer, if you're a crafter, if you're, a PvPer, if you're, just a guy or a girl just role playing, all these different, types of gameplay deserve their own cosmetics, and it's something that SBI wants to do and, give to the players to be able for them to choose. So I'm wondering if this is now the start of that ramp up, because I can't remember any time in the past where we've received like 4 or 5 different vanity sets and pieces in a month. Like, I don't think we've ever had that.
No, we've never. No, other than when we released the original stuff, there's never been this much stuff. This is the biggest update.
And I
For,
hope
like, cosmetics.
I hope it's more as well, just vanity. I mean, one thing that we haven't talked about or haven't shown, because I don't know if we can show it, the update on the 24th also will bring new furniture pieces for islands. We don't know what that is, what they are, but there are going to be new ones. It says in the patch notes. I don't know if it says on the splash page, Bogle. I think it might actually.
It does say the same thing. It says new furniture items for islands. New, but there's no pictures.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it. It's not listed on the patch notes what those new items are, what they look like, how you obtain them. No idea. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe that's something that we can get for you guys and show off next week here on the Daily Show on Wednesday when we come back. And yeah, maybe another nice little sneak peek there for you guys. We'll see. Write that down. Write that down.
Remember it in your archive.
So yeah, I mean, island decoration is actually a major thing that players love to do with what they have at their disposal. It's not great what they have at the moment, but it's, they have, done the best of their ability to make their islands look fantastic, and players spend hours and hours and hours making their islands look fantastic. Heck, even guilds do it for inside their hideouts, placing furniture pieces, for different, season events and stuff like Halloween Christmas and stuff. You know, the snowmen come out and the Christmas trees and things like that. So yeah, it's giving players more of what they want
Yeah.
and better tools and stuff. Yeah, well, why not? Why not?
Hmm. I, I see no reason not to. And I think we just spent a lot of time in the war report before this talking about my feelings on cosmetics in general and the way that they reward people. Um, Again, I do think we need to do more of this, but I think there are many other ways to use, like, I just want to say graphic enhancements to the game to encourage people or reward people. We'll just say other types of rewards. Um, this is promising. Now, Robin, we have spent a lot of time talking about the cosmetics now, as this was not what the dev talk was about.
No, actually, I thought you guys were going to play the dev talk when I was away,
No,
but you
we went
guys
into another discussion.
didn't get around to that one. But there is something I don't know when Tazik's
He's not
arriving for
coming.
the.
He's
Oh,
not. So
okay.
I like that's if you noticed, I may have responded to you in a couple of ways that weren't perfect. They may have sounded like I wasn't
Hmm.
paying perfect attention to what you just said. It's because Tazik just let me know that he will not be attending the show today. As you know from the general comments in our general chat, he has a reason, and he's just not going to make it back. Um, I did not get time to find a filler for him. I was about to reach out to our community because I'm like, Robin, I literally got this now. So that's why I'm distracted. The joys of live television production while being on the air of said television production. Yeah, I have to find another co-host for that. But we can extend this show on, Robin. And if you'd like to continue and do that, I don't mind you doing that for another half hour additional and doing just a half hour of my PvP show, and we'll take care of it as according, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the end of the AO Daily Show just yet. We're going to be playing that dev talk because there is actually something in that dev talk that we actually didn't know was a feature and haven't tested yet because I don't believe it's actually in the test server yet. But it was shown in detail and they do talk about it in said dev talk. So I think it's a pretty cool feature. And we
By
actually
the
kind of
way,
touched on it
by the way,
last
Robin,
week.
while you were
But
saying the word dev talk like 5 times, right? I appreciate the cue, right? The
Mm-mm.
Joseph was
The
talking
dev
about
talk you.
live
Dev
production
talk you.
stuff, right? And
Yeah.
then my mouse went over to where I have everything preloaded and stuff. And then you said dev
you
talk
closed it.
and then you said dev talk the third time, and I pressed the X. I closed everything. I was like, oh.
Nice.
And now I
Oh
use this
boy.
time to talk about random things, and I opened it up again, so I'm good.
That's amazing. You guys are great. See, this is what I hope you guys enjoy getting to watch this because this is like a different kind of thing you're not going to see on other Twitch channels, either official ones or unofficial ones. People trying to do like a multi-level live production in front of you and also just talking to you guys like you're part of the team.
It's opening
We
a
really
YouTube video, Charleston. I'm good.
well, I mean, we like to
I'm
talk to these
good.
It's
guys like they're part of
fine.
the team. We're friends with these
Let's play
guys.
that
This
dev
is where they
talk.
play the video. I'll stop being sentimental. I'm just trying to give you time to hit play, Bogle.
Did you? I cut you off there, but did you want to set up anything else?
No. Well, you'll see it.
All right,
And we'll talk about it when we get back.
Let's play it.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another Albion Online Dev Talk. Last time, we introduced Realm Divided, our next major content update that reshapes the Royal Continent and brings a brand new era of faction warfare to Albion. Today, we'll take you on a journey through the first steps of this new system, from joining your faction to reaching the front lines and taking part in the first battles that will shape the war. This will be the first of 2 dev talks breaking down the details of this new iteration of faction warfare, with the second dev talk covering the broader campaign and fortress sieges. With Realm Divided, faction warfare on the Royal Continent has been completely restructured. The continent has been divided into provinces, distinct war zones made up of several connected regions. Our leading motivation in this redesign was to make PvP ever present, turning provinces into large-scale battles that determine a single chapter in Albion's perpetual faction war. In the past, faction armies often marched past one another without ever engaging, as the old frontline system didn't anchor the fighting to a specific area. Under the new system, the conflict will be focused into active provinces with valuable objectives giving players an opportunity to fight over the rewards. These objectives range from faction camps to encourage small-scale skirmishes, to large faction fortresses to ignite all-out war over the province itself. Each province can be in one of several states. It can be peaceful, actively in conflict, or under siege, and this determines what kind of battles you'll find there. We'll go deeper into how those states change in our next Dev Talk, but for now, what's important is understanding how to recognize them. To help you navigate, the Faction Warfare World Map overlay gives an overview of the entire war. It shows which provinces are contested, which your faction controls, and where you can have the biggest impact. When you zoom in, the map still shows individual regions just as it did before, allowing you to view familiar local objectives and details. When you zoom out, you'll see the higher level overview of the ongoing war, showing the larger strategic picture of the front lines and faction progress. The map also helps you see at a glance which conflicts are nearby and most relevant to you. Provinces that are under attack are clearly marked with red highlighted sword standards, and red directional arrows give insights into the momentum of faction troop movements. These are the front lines, the place where your faction needs you the most.
One of the major pain points in the old system was how much time players lost traveling to the front lines. To fix that, we've added new faction transports. Once you have enlisted with the faction of your choice and flagged up for faction warfare, you'll find these armored wagons near every city's faction leader and at the fortresses your faction controls. From there, you can select active conflict zones for your faction and travel to them directly. The faction transport won't take you deep into the red zone, but it will take you right to its edge, where the fighting begins. You can also see open parties already fighting and join them instantly through the transport interface. This makes it easier than ever to get into battle, connect with others, and reinforce your allies at the front. No more long rides across the continent, just pick your destination, pay a small transport fee, board the wagon, and you're right there ready to fight. When you arrive in a contested province, you'll immediately see the war in motion. Outposts will be under attack, factions will clash in open fields, and opportunities for both small and large-scale fights will be all around you. Whether you prefer roaming skirmishes or joining bigger pushes, there's always a way to contribute. One of the key activities in these war zones are the new faction camps. When a province becomes a conflict zone, bandits seize control of these camps and fill them with valuable supplies. To bring the war down to a personal scale, we've designed two types of faction camps. Solo camps for lone fighters seeking quick clashes, and small group camps that encourage teamwork and frequent skirmishes between factions. These camps serve as gathering points where players naturally encounter allies and enemies alike, creating constant small-scale battles that feed into the larger war effort. By clearing out the looters, your faction reclaims the camp and unlocks a faction chest at its center. When your faction opens a faction chest, everybody nearby shares in the loot, providing valuable rewards and helping your side to establish momentum in the fight for the province. These chests can also appear independently throughout the contested provinces, creating additional hotspots for conflict. Be careful though, as these chests can be raided. If another faction reaches the chest before the timer ends, they can claim the loot and the supplies for themselves. This constant push and pull keeps the fighting dynamic and gives even small engagements real impact. Every camp cleared, every chest opened brings your faction one step closer to controlling the province.
So today, you've seen how the new faction warfare system begins, joining your faction, traveling to the front lines, and fighting for control in the new provinces. Next time, we'll show you how those same efforts culminate in massive fortress sieges for ultimate control of a province, for the dominance of the continent, and for the glory of your faction. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
And I gotta say, you pointed out something to me in that dev talk that we're probably gonna spend the next 30 minutes talking about, and I feel bad for the rest of the information in that dev talk, because the rest of the information in that dev talk is fantastic. There's some really cool things about getting to the front. There's some really cool things about how the reward structure works and about how so much of this works. And it's really great. And I suggest, if you're gonna be participating with us next, what is it, 2 weeks? 2 weeks? How long? 3 weeks? 3 weeks.
3
November
weeks.
24th is 3 weeks and 3 days. So you got some time here, guys. Sorry. It's right around the corner. Watch it again. You're going to want to learn how it works. We'll talk about the camps as well, because I think those small POIs are amazing. But Robin, let's talk about that party finder.
Yeah. It's something that I don't think anybody knew was actually going to be a thing. You know, it was literally Wednesday Daily Show where it was something that we were talking about as a gripe, right? As
Complaining
you know,
about incessantly. We spent
Mhm.
45 minutes going off. I probably had some of my best insomnia-fueled rants of the year.
Yeah, that the party finder system is so broken and it just doesn't work, and it would have been a fantastic opportunity for the devs to, you know, bring it up to speed in, you know, 2025, 2026, integrate Discord into, you know, it like that, you know, being able to find groups, you know, with faction warfare, and you know, you build up, you know, friendships with the players that you join randomly, and then, you know, you go on and you stick with that group, and then you join a guild, and you know, you expand into the rest of Albion Online. But that was just us wishing.
High in the
We
sky,
didn't know
wishing we were. Well, I mean,
anything
this
about
doesn't
this.
follow through with everything we wanted. I'm sure this isn't connecting you to our Discord group
No.
or anything like that. But
But
if this is connecting you to a guy who leads things and you can see that guy's name and he does his follow chat, like, follow us at this freaking Discord, you can probably figure that out because you're a smart gamer. And the leader is a smart gamer who's going to direct you to his Discord so that you can follow along. This is awesome, dude. Robin, I'm thrilled.
yeah, I'm very surprised like this was not mentioned in patch notes or anything. Like this is
The
a
only
big
person who
component
knows this is
for
big is the guy who put it in, Robin. That's it. The guy who argued for it for like 3 weeks straight, saying this is super important, this is super important, this is super important. He knows. He knows.
Maybe you want to
Or they know.
say what
But-
it is. I was showing it on screen. You guys were like,
Play it again. Bogle, cue it up again. Robin and I will shut up. You can play it again, and we'll let Johannes explain it again, and then the chat will understand why we're going off like lunatics, because this really is something that once you understand what it is, you'll see how much better it is like the third or fourth time you think about it.
all right, playing.
You right to its edge, where the fighting begins. You can also see open parties already fighting and join them instantly through the transport interface.
Open parties fighting and join them instantly. I mean, it's gonna be a max 20 size, right? But still, open
Still,
parties is big.
like open parties. And remember, like the design idea right from the get-go, right? If you cast your mind all the way back to the July Albion Online update video that we got, where we got the first understanding about the faction warfare update that was coming, you know, Graymo mentioned then, you know, it's they want to try and, you know, allow non-guild players, solo players, to be able to jump into the action as well. This does that. you're going to be able to just look to see if there's an open party fighting in that area, use the travel cart and jump to that location and then automatically join that party as well and start fighting alongside those players.
Absolutely.
And then where that leads to, it's a it's up
Any,
to you and anyone
yeah.
else.
Well, so let's talk about that because there's a big chat going on in our chat, and we need to address this because it comes up regularly, and it's a terrible idea. And I usually don't say that about player ideas. I don't just come out and say your idea is bad. Let me explain to you why it's a bad idea. Proximity chat in Albion Online is a terrible idea. It's just a bad idea. All you have to do is look at global chat and then look at that and think for 1 second, why you don't want to hear that over and over. And if you are one of the rare people who do, I want you to think about the rest of the people that you play alongside and what will happen to the number of them that stick around if they're stuck with proximity chat. Now you'd go, okay, well, I'll turn it off. You know, if they don't like it, they can turn it off. They don't have to listen. They can turn off the radio. But then you're saying that a major component of communication is a tool that some people who are, you know, less than the rest of us and can't put up with what we're doing aren't going to use. And then you have a segmented population. What I prefer is that you get to go to a place where there's someone with some level of responsibility for what you say controlling that chat, such as a Discord. If Albion can like encourage you to get into communities, guilds, Discords, social communities, even Discords under the AlbionTV Discord, so that you're in groups of chat like between 5 and 20 under the official chat, I'd be fine with that. But when you start putting that into a thing where anybody can walk up to you and start talking, any 15 people can start walking up to you and start talking, you're into a situation where the levels of abuse that some people are going to have to endure is going to make them quit. Not just the chat, but the game. Because the level of abuse you can put on somebody in voice chat is just not the same as you can in type chat. And I've seen that in just absolute playing out on the bus as you go to play Fortnite. Okay? Like early drops on some of these games were insane when you had 40 to 100 people just sitting in a room saying things. This was not a good idea. The people who thought it was, you know, they've been punished. But building communities with responsibility and connection is a beautiful idea. And this thing here, sending people to groups that somebody has that's actually actively doing something and putting you right on the front under somebody who may or may not be a responsible human being is a great idea. And then allowing that person to demonstrate their level of responsibility to you, not only as somebody who's leading a group out there in the world, but in the way they do it. If they can communicate to you that they have a group that you can go to as part of their community, that gives you some like institutional knowledge about them right off the bat, that they're a community builder, that they have a community that's worth going to, and that you could go there and be a part of that. Now, if you're just in a community chat with somebody that's, say, 20 random people and they all get to speak to you at the same level of authority, you're going to get a lot of gamer words that drown out actual communication. And that's not great. And I think that's a pretty freaking good one for why we don't have proximity chat. Love you guys. Love that you want to have community. No proximity chat.
Yeah, it's never
Okay.
happening. Good rant. It covered all the bases.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Except for e-dating, I didn't cover that, and that's even worse, guys. We're not.
Don't go down that route. But just imagine, right? Bogle's sitting here where he's sitting right now.
Mhm.
There's 177 players just in this area alone, and pretty much all of them are near enough in proximity to Bogle. How the hell does proximity chat work with 177 players of all different languages, all speaking at the same time? How does that even work? It doesn't work. It just does not work at all. And then even if somehow it did work, imagine you're just, tootling along, having a nice day. Then all you start hearing is some guy following you behind you because you're riding your mammoth with your full 8-4 masterpiece set doing crafting. Suddenly, all you hear is 50K, please. Hey, can I get 50K silver,
50K,
please?
50K,
50K.
but it's louder and
Hey,
Yo,
louder and
bro,
louder
can I
and
hit you?
louder as he
Oh, hey,
starts
ho.
to get screaming. Oh.
Exactly.
Now, here's
Exactly.
I actually have a way to do this. So, if you really want proximity chat, this is what I suggest you do. Open a chat in your game that has all the chats open, every single one of them, not just like local chat, say chat, and global chat, but open all the languages, open the trade channels, open the suggestion channels, open the global, open everything. So it's all in just one. And then have an AI read them aloud to you as they come up and have it use a different voice for every line. Okay. And I am absolutely positive that you will have 10 to 15 voices going on all the time, and you will not like that. But that will give you the closest experience to what an actual proximity chat would look like.
Yep. And that's not happening.
Dude, I'm
But
ready
I'm
for the
glad
meme.
that we
I
I'm
want to make
glad
the
that we
meme
covered
video
that
now.
today.
I think we need to make a meme video of this to show people what that would look like. Just like what proximity chat in Albion Online would look like. And I think we
I
have the
think you
technology
would.
to do that now,
I think you would get
and it would
banned
be
from
hilarious.
YouTube and Twitch.
No. I'm gonna do it within a plausible language limit, and maybe even use words that are really goofy instead of curse words, so that you guys can get
Beep
it.
beep
So it's
beep beep beep.
funny. No, not beep, but like something like stupid, like skibbity, and just have it be tons and tons of just nonsensical words in place of cursing, but use a long-term like copying of global chat to train the bot. And I think that would be freaking hilarious, and I kind of want to make that video.
I don't know. I don't want to hear whatever my mom is about. Or other
But
random bad word,
It might also just be a good tool, for show. Like, just anytime anybody says they want to have proximity chat, Bogle just plays the video.
jeez.
I think that'd be hilarious.
It's gonna waste
Yeah.
so much of my life's time. No, thank you. No.
Bogle,
But
you got to stop being so unfun.
coming back
All right,
around
back around to what we were talking about. The important thing, the
Yeah, the thing
ability
that's
to just
actually
pay,
coming.
the thing that's coming, pay a small silver fee to get moved to the front and placed in a group that is already freaking active and fighting, is one of the most amazing low-key things that Albion has ever done. Is freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. And I'm so excited for this because I think this is going to be one of those things that really does help people find community. And I think that finding community is the most important thing to finding enjoyment in your game.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. And it expands the player's life cycle in the game, like in the actual game. Like
Yeah, you want to play longer when you have friends, right?
exactly. Like, and you want to play longer when you're, in a guild and you're doing guild activities and you're pushing your guild forward. You got something to play for, you got someone to play with, you got someone to talk to.
My
And
philosophy is that there are three things that keep people playing MMOs: rewards, recognition, and responsibility. And those things are what happens when you start to play with other people. The more you play with other people, the more those people provide those things for you instead of the game. And if you have to rely on the game and the studio to provide those three things to you, you're going to run out eventually. If there's aspects of the community that add to those three things, you will stay longer. The higher level of recognition and responsibility you have, the more you're going to put up with low rewards. The more rewards you have, the more you'll put up with a lack in the other two areas. But if you can have a group of friends that provide all three of those things at a level that is greater than what you get in the game, and those are psychological rewards, it's like, like group responsibilities and like recognition from the people around you as somebody who's good to be around, those things will keep you in a community far longer than any gameplay loop.
You're not wrong. You are on point
Yeah, I know.
with that. Yes.
Dude, it's the
Um,
philosophy I built, like, everything around. Yeah. Robin, I'm really excited for this, and I think we have to figure out how to use this on the first week and make that a key thing that we teach and a key thing that we use to get people into our groups. How cool would it be for somebody in the community to go and see, I can join Robinhood RS and his group right now out there in faction warfare? I can go join Lupac right now in faction warfare. That's awesome. I can join L Forward or Melitris or Nazori right now in faction warfare and play alongside all of these people. That's the kind of thing that I don't think you can, like, properly put a value on, and how that can affect the success of faction warfare. Like, this might be the best part of this whole update, Robin.
it might be. It sounds ridiculous, but it just might be. Like,
Oh, the biggest part of this update is a faction warfare. What are you guys talking about?
No, the biggest part is the faction warfare fortifications, Bogo. It's the fortifications. That's the castles are the big deal. Like, remember that. But the castles don't freaking matter if nobody's moving to them.
fortresses.
They're fortresses. Okay, I'll learn that in about 6 months.
Yep. Don't call them territories either.
Oh shit. Fortresses. We used to
Fortresses.
have territories in the Royals, Robin.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how hard it is to separate the stuff from 7 years ago from from 3 years ago, from the stuff from 5 years ago, from the stuff from
Yeah,
today?
we know.
It's hard. All right. So fortresses are going to be really cool, but I think that fortresses are only good if people are fighting for them. And this idea is a way to get people into groups that aren't only fighting for them now, but they're fighting for them long term. Because when you build community, whether it's a community of 2 people or a community of 200, you increase the likelihood of those people playing together. And this is one of the first things I've seen from them. And when I say them, I mean Sandbox Interactive, that looks like it's truly a community building tool in the game. Now, I love the guild finder, and I love the guild finder. I think that's the only other tool that does this. And I love some of the POIs and the Outlands, but like the group finder, people have been yelling at me about that since day one, like I made it. So I have, I'm not. Syndicate's basically been mean to me about that thing. Just mean. Yeah, not good. But this looks like it's not a group finder. It's a group placer. It's putting you right into the action under people, and you get to choose. So if you start to like learn who's like the good leaders in your faction, right? You start to get an idea of who the awesome people in your faction really are. You can start going, oh, dude, I don't want to play under 10 wit again. Who else do I have here? Oh, okay. We got Tankso heading in. That kind of thing can happen. Though based on what I'm reading in chat right now, the person I wouldn't want to play with is one player. Relax, leave the poor dude alone. Let him be. Other guy, ignore him for now. Stop bringing in the personal shit at each other. I'm going to put you both in timeout. And, I kind of like you guys, so behave. You're adults. We're adults. If we own houses, we're adults. We don't need to flex that. We don't need to argue about having jobs. Be nice. This is a video game place. All right, now that I'm done being a dad to adult men, Robin, what else we got on the docket?
Jesus. Um, I don't. I don't know. Actually, we obviously have the camps as well, right? I I still don't know what the supply does. Like, is it rewarded?
Exactly how it
Like,
works. Yeah.
yeah.
I think
So
this is a learn over time kind of thing.
yeah,
But I really think that it's gonna kind of like the small POIs is kind of why I think there's supply and how they just it's going my hope anyway, Robin, is
So
that we get a combined effect. Is that it's small groups fighting for these POIs, right? And then building small groups together into larger forces to fight for the larger POIs as the front moves forward, right? Like by focusing on these, like putting people into groups of 20, I think that will encourage these small group activities, these like the little outposts and stuff that we see to be done for supplies, to start to push those points towards bigger things. And as we move naturally and organically to getting enough supplies to cause the fortress fight or the zone move, you start to see people moving towards the same location and then working together in larger groups, hopefully organically. I'm interested to seeing how this works because that is the hardest part of multi-tier POIs in a single system environment. How do you prevent 100 people from taking a 20-person activity? Or, or encourage it correctly, I should say.
yeah, yeah. I get what you said. Tankso pretty much says supplies are kind of like
Mhm.
vortexes, and
Yes.
I kind of makes sense in a way. I just want to know, like, supply points, does that equal faction point rewards back to the player that is earning those supplies for the province, right? Say like one player gets 100,000 supply points for a province, and then someone else gets 10,000 of this within the same faction. Is the person that gets 100,000 points rewarded more, or is it just equal? Because at the end of the day, the the, the biggest reward comes from the actual fortress fight at the end for the province itself, right? It's a win or lose. Like, but does someone get rewarded because of the amount of supply points they put in? I don't know. Or is it a factor of the supply points are not rewarded because the reward comes from the chest that you get in the camps for, claiming the camps? Is that the reward? I don't
Hmm.
know. Like, eh, that's something that I would like to know more of.
I think we're gonna see more of that soon, but I think it's more of a build-up reward that you get outside of the engagements themselves. But I do want to talk about one of the negative feelings we're seeing in chat, which is honestly a real one and a repeated pattern, and we're going to address it right off the bat here. Uh, Lackinen says people don't realize that it will most people don't realize that it will only be played for a month at most, and then everything goes back to normal. Sad, but I don't want to ruin their dreams. We have seen this happen with a lot of content in the past where it has a limited life cycle and then player activity and player um like players like to avoid obstacles and go directly to rewards. Think of players as like a river, right? And then as content as a winding like river, like it's winding like is the obstacle. It has lots of bends, it's got lots of shit in it, and then players are almost like a flash flood. Players come in and they absolutely destroy every obstacle in front of them to get from where they are to the rewards as fast as possible. The goals of developers are to put as much barriers in along each bend to make sure that the players have to follow the path. Okay. And several times in the past and probably currently we're seeing it right now with the depths. I absolutely am not going to say that this doesn't happen or isn't even happening now. It constantly happens. It's a real effect. The you see that the way people play the game changes so much that it breaks many of the rules that were intended. Now, I'm going to I always give the content the benefit of the doubt, but there are some real pieces of content in Albion's past that did not last very long. They got broken very quickly, or the fun in them wore out pretty quickly because the design didn't match the player expectation. Now, since the Mist, and this is just not that long ago, I think we're looking at 2.5 years, we've seen a change in development perspective on the way that they approach delivering content to the players. And so they try to put content in front of players earlier in development so that we are doing it like at a pre-release phase and getting testing in there longer. We're seeing now testing a month and a half before things go live so that the devs can see how the players are going to run through that content in a live environment rather than through feedback with a small select group of players and getting it into as many people's hands as they can as possible. We're seeing with the faction warfare specifically that they're running events for faction warfare. In the case of the first one, they had way more people engaged in that content than they were prepared for, that signified a couple of things. One, way more interest in this type of interaction than they expected, and this type of content. So both things are working. This content, the faction warfare, is something the players really want, and the type of interactions at the development level are also something that the players want to be involved in. This has advanced in every update we have had since the Mist. In the past, this has not happened. Straight up didn't happen. It led to some serious problems. We can talk about the roads as an example of things that really didn't go the way I expected them to go, and other things as well. But now we're seeing them get into these things and try to get out in front of it early. And that's not going to prevent your concern from happening, Lackinins. It's just not going to stop it. What it can do, though, is actually slow that progress, like of the player destroying the content, which over time, generally, when you have player-driven content, is something that almost always happens. It's an inevitability, not a completely preventable thing. In this case, by getting ahead of it as early as possible, they can literally put up the best barriers they can and find ways to even, if you want to call it this, straighten out some of the bends so they're more in line with the way the player water wants to flow downhill towards rewards. And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the best thing ever. But I think that this is going to be one of the better ones, that they look at those bends and barriers and try to work with the players earlier than ever before, and probably more actively after the content comes out than we've ever seen before. And I really think that's going to be better for the long-term life of faction warfare than we've seen in the past. Now, is it going to be perfect, Lackinins? No, it won't. I want people like you, specifically the cynic out there, to say, this is what's bad, this is what I don't like, fix this. And you can message Robin Hood RS with those complaints from now on. That'd be fine. Was that a pretty good speech, guys? I hope so. I hope the insomnia is working to our advantage today.
Get in there. It's getting there.
Okay.
Not too bad. Not too bad. But on the flip side of that, we'll also say, as Tankso pointed out, he's been playing faction warfare daily for the last 2 years. Like, faction warfare, like, still gets played daily, multiple times a day, by a very large portion of the player base, and it hasn't received an update since 2022, I want to say. So it's been about 3 years, nearly 4 years. and players are still playing the content. Um, I think faction warfare is quite a unique one when it comes to, the whole, oh, players are just going to play it for a month and then, stop playing it type thing. Um, Obviously, you always have a drop off of player activity. The players play the new thing, and then if they love it, then they keep playing it. If they don't like it, or if it's, not their main content, they may drop in here and there, but go play other things as well. And then you have players that just don't like it and it's not their cup of tea, and that's fine, right? They have other things to do in Albion Online to play and enjoy. And that's going to be the exact same here. It's just faction warfare it's now their time to, get a lick of paint and another shot at it, and hopefully it keeps players engaged for a longer period of time, more, or shall we say more players engaged for a longer period of time than what the current system does. um if you can double the player base of a very popular activity such as faction warfare that has thousands and thousands of players playing its content and engaging in its content every day, and you can 2x that, I think that is a very successful update. And if you can keep that player base number engaging in that content for an extended period of time, much like this faction warfare that we currently have here, which is 3-4 years out of date, that is a tremendous success. And that, I think, is thing. And also, new players are going to be engaging with it all the time as well. And that's the point of it, right? It's a stepping stone at the end of the day. It's not for veteran players, so to speak, though veteran players can definitely jump in and enjoy it themselves. And especially, I think faction warfare allows for the non-FOLU enjoyers to enjoy the large chaos of ZVZs without losing gear, and they can enjoy that and have a sense of meaning because they're fighting for their city. They're not fighting for their guild or a guild. They're fighting for their city. And I think that's another thing. Like, player identity with faction warfare is very strong. Um, and it's still something that I wish SBI tapped into a little bit more with this content update. And I will probably stick by that throughout, launch and going on, unless something comes later on, in a future patch, which, always a potential opportunity to do so. But player identity to their faction is crazy. Marlock, Bestlock, all that type of thing, like the swamps of Thetford and all this. We have massive community discords around a singular faction, and players love to rep their city and their faction, and they have done for many, many years. Just unfortunately, there hasn't really been a tap in with this update to, amplify that. But again, you don't know what's coming afterwards. So it's still my gripe. And it's fine for players to have some gripe here and there. Not
No,
every update is going to be perfecto.
no,
There's going
no,
to be an
Robin.
issue somewhere.
That's this is a live service game that cannot please everybody all the time. When you don't get what you want, please let us know so that in future updates they can bring you guys more content more aligned with what you want. Don't get mad when the content isn't exactly what you're hoping for. Maybe even try it. Like, see what advantages it can have to you, even if that's not in the form of your personal content. Sometimes other people just enjoying the game is also good for you. Like, because it just brings more people into your game and it allows them to do other things. But it's never going to be all things to all people. But that does not mean that you shouldn't complain about it when it's not for you. Like, understand where complaints go, and that a complaint isn't like, it's not always a complaint. It's like a request. It can be like a informative position. You can say, "Hey, this was not something that worked for me. It didn't do what I want in my gameplay environment. My gameplay environment from when I start to when I end looks like this. Nothing that you guys have dropped in the last 3 updates have touched any of these areas. What could you guys do to touch any of the areas that I play from the time I start to the time I end, so that at some point I can feel like something was an update for me? That's that's a great gripe, dude. But tell us in those areas what your areas are, how you'd like to see them improve, and don't say add boats, Say you'd like this aspect changed so it's more in line. Don't say I want more rewards, because well, and no, hold on. There are some areas of the game that might actually be a perfectly good fine suggestion. So I'm going to take that back. But overall, I think Albion just needs less rewards, not more. Some of the rewards have gotten way out of line, bro. Looking at you, depth for solo player in a 3-man room.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, Zoro in chat said they spent 3 months developing this. That's what's annoying. And they said further up, it's fine that they're including this content, but what's not fine is that it takes up an entire update. Um, so
Hmm.
for the player, I understand what you are saying, because what you see is a lot of what we already have. You know, territory layouts are the same
Same.
layouts as
Yep.
fortresses, albeit a lick of paint, with faction flags,
Faction flags.
and
Yeah, just
some other things. PVE camps, both solo and group,
they
are
already
what we
exist. Yep.
already have in multiple different aspects of content,
Repurposed content.
and
Yep.
have been included in previous different content updates. But to a player, that may just look like it's a lazy, copy paste of what we already have. But you gotta remind yourself, this is, a new player activity. This is, getting players familiarized with what to expect as they progress through the game. For a player that's engaging in faction warfare and they're sieging a fortress in a yellow zone, it's going to be their first experience of that, right? But they're going to start understanding the mechanics of, okay, I need a siege hammer to take down the fortification walls of this fortress. I got to break the walls and the gates, and I go progress further in. There's 2 layers of walls that I have to break through,
Mm-hmm.
while the defender is, trying to defend their territory, and we're both killing each other. Then you get to the tower, and it's a claim tower. So, like, you go to the tower, that's the final stage. You have to fight over the tower to claim it. Take that, what that player is learning, you then take it from the yellow zone. If that player really enjoys that content and they want to go further than just non-full loot activity, you take it to the red zone. They learn it there and they're engaged in full loot activity. Then you go to the final step in that, and that is going all the way to the outlands, joining a guild, and engaging in the content. That player knows how to siege a territory because they've done it before in faction warfare in a non-full loot environment into a full loot environment, and now they're here, final stage of the content line, so to speak, of ZVZs. And that's, they understand what they're doing. They understand what they need to do because they learned it all the way back then. Now, if you completely change how you siege a fortress, and its layouts and everything from a yellow zone, and then that player then goes to the outlands and engages there, they don't understand because it's not the same. It's the same systems. It's making sure players understand the systems as they progress through stepping stones of content to get to the final end game. And the same with PvE encampments, right? It works, right? The system, the activity works. It's spiced up a little bit because the players that are engaging in PvE while faction flagged are also contributing to the overall province fortress battle itself. Every time they capture and complete a camp, they're getting supply for the overall province, which then passes on to the fortress battle at the end at the timer. Um, but the players are understanding how these camps work and how to complete them. So when they go further afield into red zones and then outlands activity, it's the same concept. They know what to do. Um, but on the backside of what players don't see is a massive system rework. Like the province system, the attack system, how the system that has been designed is pushing players into, conflict better, right? Because players know where to go, that it's a province versus province. That's, the core rework here. It's been a massive issue getting players to the fight quicker so they don't have to run,
Oh, in a
five,
way
10
that works
zones.
in a way that works and doesn't
E
break the system and doesn't break the
Exactly.
tools we already have, and understand that this
Exactly.
game was built 12 years ago, and all of these systems are built on top of a layer of things that don't necessarily, or it was not designed to be. And
Mhm.
so when people the most frustrating thing to me in that comment was 3 months has been spent on this. Oh, sir. Uh Nothing gets done in 3 months. Literally nothing in the video game industry besides making maybe a cosmetic gets done in 3 months. Like, I need you to go to ChatGPT, and I need, or Gronk, or any other AI that you could possibly think of that may help you, and then ask it how long game development takes at what scale. Put some basic information about what you're asking it, and then hopefully that will give you the knowledge base to go, I'm never going to ask somebody why they didn't get more done in 3 months again. Because I understand what you're saying, this isn't for you, and you're right on everything else about that. Because sometimes it's not, like, about, like, the time. Like, you were mistaken about some information, you showed some just lack of knowledge, and that's okay. But I want you to learn a little bit about, like, what it takes for a team to make something at this scale, so that you just know. Because I don't want to, I don't have time to tell you. Um But yeah, this took a long time, and I'm very impressed with what they did. And this particular piece of content is not for everybody, but more people can play this type of content than it could be before. It is made in a way that is designed to bring more people into this content than ever before. And Albion Online, the end game content, is large ZVZ warfare between guilds and alliances for huge amounts of reward. And we spend a lot of time showing that, and I know that people absolutely love that stuff, but it's very hard to get involved in that, and there needs to be some scalability to that type of content. And as Robin says, this is a perfect way to do it. And that Group Finder, low key, maybe the greatest addition to Albion Online that has ever happened in the 10 plus years I've been playing.
Yeah. But and again, half I would say actually more than half the battle of game development um is, you know, player expectations and getting the player to understand and what to expect. And obviously, every update that comes around, players want them everything. They want this, they want that, they want the whole package. And I get it, right? You want your game, you want things changed in your game, but managing player expectations is the hardest thing I would say in game development. Um, and sometimes we're a sucker for it here on AOTV. Look at I wanted, player representation more for faction warfare in cosmetics and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about,
Um
and we were, what
and
happened?
we and yeah, it's something that we talk about all the time, and at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? Not everything's going to make it into an update. Not everything's going to be fixed, even if it's focused on faction warfare itself. We haven't had anything talked about with bandits or anything mentioned about Corleone as a faction, right? What was did they run out of time? Is it coming in the future? What's the deal? We just don't know. But it's managing player expectations. There's so many different things that players want changed, and unfortunately, not everything is going to be fixed and changed to the way that the players want. Um, Probably the biggest complaint that the old faction community had was red zone faction flagging faux loot PvP outside the city. I want to, sit there and farm noobs all day fighting the zombie horde. That's not coming back.
No,
Players
it
may
can't
want
come
it,
back. That's
but it's not
terrible.
coming.
Well, there is a group of players that want that, and there was a group of players that was farmed through their ignorance.
Hmm.
What group are we concerned about more? And as a player who thinks about all the players, I'm more concerned about the ones who are being abused than the ones who are getting greater rewards and having a lot of fun beating on people who don't know how to do what they're doing yet and don't know really the consequences of what they're doing or why they're even doing it. But there was a large incentive to participate through FOMO. Like when you see everybody else running out the door to go fight the group that's attacking your city, if you're somebody in your first 2 months of gameplay and you really don't understand the game that much, you're going to want to go outside and check that shit out. And you get killed 3 times in a row and it costs you what you made in a week and you start to question that, your gameplay was so bad that it may cause you to stop. The person who went and killed those people not doing that gameplay loop isn't going to cause them to stop playing the game. They might have had a really good time doing it, and they might have not had they might have a better time doing that than a different activity, but they aren't going to quit the game because they didn't get to participate in that activity, right? Does that make sense? And that's how you measure those things from a fundamental level of when you're going to add something to a game or not.
Exactly. Well, it has been a waffler of a very long extended daily show here
We did a
today.
lot of talking today.
We did a
We did,
lot of talking.
an hour and a half plus of daily show today. Robin, thank you so much for sticking around and doing some extra stuff with us today. Tazik, I hope all goes well for you out there. It was good to talk to you about this update. I think we talked a lot about some really interesting gameplay stuff and game design stuff, and we talked about things on a way that I don't think we get the time to go into on most daily shows, and that was a lot of fun. I can see that some members in the audience really appreciated that. Even the guy who I yelled at, he seemed to appreciate that we're just honest with them, and I appreciate your appreciation. Good job on you. I hope you come back again, and I'm looking
And
forward to you hanging out here.
I appreciate that player and other players being vocal about their concerns as well, right? It's
That's what we're here for. Yeah,
we're that's what we're here for. Like, we're here to have that conversation with you, so you as a player can understand just a little bit, hopefully, about where the dev team stand, and why certain things happen certain ways. And we pass your feedback on to the team as well, right? So, I'm pretty sure sometimes there's a couple devs sitting in chat right now reading and listening to us waffle on as well. So,
they do
it
that a
doesn't fall on
lot.
deaf ears. I'll say that much. And yeah, I mean, I will agree. Maybe a roadmap would be nice. Maybe the devs,
Mm.
laying it out a little bit more clearer on what they want to do with the updates that are coming up to, bring down player expectation just a little bit, so we're not, in this situation again where players are just expecting the most. If the devs lay out what they want to target with this update, and that's that, then I think that's a good idea. Um, and again, that's something that we can pass on to the dev team, and hopefully we'll see in the future. Right? We're coming up to a brand new year soon. Means potentially a brand new roadmap, either at the end of this year or the start of next. To see what the next year brings, and we do it all over again. We'll see how it goes. But enough waffling from us here today. Shout out to all you lovely folks in chat talking to us, chilling with us for the last nearly hour and a half here for this daily show.
It's fun.
We'll be back again
Robin,
tomorrow.
I'm going to pause you because we are going to be back tomorrow. But before you go, there's somebody else who's been in this chat all day who I'd like to hear from, because Bogle's sitting there being very quiet. And I want
Oh,
Bogle
yeah.
to say it's been that kind of show. We're all kind of given a rundown of what this was. Bogle, let me hear your final thoughts on today and some of the topics that we discussed, because you're a valuable member of our team. We've got to treat our AI with respect.
With that setup, I
What?
mean,
What? Big fan. Big
I
fan.
mean, you guys talked a lot about, what are rightful limitations of that you can't get everything done all the time, right? And that's fine, and that's correct and true. And then I'm sitting here at the edge of the world and being like, yeah, but I like laborers. Why haven't they been fixed in 5 years? Like,
Yeah, Bogle,
HCE, that there are some things where you can dig very far and go like, well, what about this and what about that? And then the argument is, well, Albion's a big game, and then there's other cool things, and you're like, yeah, okay, but what about my thing? And then I mean, honestly, if faction warfare is not the biggest thing for me and for Albion at the end of the year, I might be doing something else for a while. But that's the cool thing about Albion too. You can come back to it if there's a thing
there's
for you
so
again.
much. Like there's so much in Albion, and I think that's one of the things that people also forget when they're saying my topic hasn't been fixed, is that there's a topic for 10 other people who play 10 other types of content too. And it can be really, really hard to really please everybody, even in a single year. So I really do hope that, your contract, your transport contracts come, that your laborers get a rework. I hope that food gets a rework. I know there's so many different areas of Albion that need a fresh coat of paint. Crystal Arenas, anyone?
Oh God.
I'm not going to go into it. We're going to get
Oh,
out of here.
thank God. Thank God.
But I just wanted to hear from Bogle, as I think he has some great input. Again, I can see you guys really appreciated this episode. And you know what I might even do for all of you guys who participated in this chat, because a lot of this was complaining about the things you guys didn't like and wanted to see, or the things you were unsure of. This might be one of those episodes I just cut, clip, and send to the devs and say, here, when you have the time, there's a lot of things in chat that might be valuable to hear. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for participating. Bogle, pull one more code. And then we're going to get out of here, and we'll be back again tomorrow at 14 UTC.
And there we go. What a stream. What a stream.
Good
Okay.
stuff there.
Bye.